Hey, this is Adam Mitchell. You're listening to Tom Zeus and the Shout It Out Loudcast. Rock on.
Oh boy. Here we go. This is Gene Simmons.
Put that cookie down.
Kiss.
Stop pressing the button.
Stockbroker Simmons.
Star? Paul Stanley. Is that what he does? Stop shouting. He's not what you would call a handsome man. Oh no, here come the kiss times.
Is that a positive thing? Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna grab me an ice cold mellow yellow.
Why? Why do that to the fans? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them. That's why.
What are you talking about?
617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like Kiss?
Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom and Zeus with another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast. We're up to episode 188, Klassik 78.
I'm laughing right now. I'm trying not to laugh right now because...
What did I do?
No, you didn't do anything. I'm just laughing because right before you hit record, me and you were just like fucking grumpy old men.
Oh,
Just it's, this is why we do this. Like, we get on the air, we purge, and then it's like, all right, let's go. And maybe we'll get into it a little bit later, but
maybe that's going to be a special Patreon thing. Show the 10 minutes before we hit record.
No,
we wouldn't have any listeners left.
Nope. No. Actually, I'd take that back. There might be a couple people that'd be like, it's the best part of your show. It's my favorite part of your show.
It's because that's when we're like, dude, I'm so sick of this fucking idiot sending me this stupid shit.
We've never said that about a listener.
What? I didn't say it was a listener.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
Oh, a person.
We're just like, dude.
Fuck everybody.
Yeah. This fucking guy is the most annoying piece of shit. All right. Yeah, we get it. You fucking have this going on. We get it. Like, it's
exhausting.
I actually recommend everybody out there have this, or whether it's in your therapy group or whatever you do, is have a friend that you can contact once a week
and
be like, okay, what's pissing you off? Oh, let me tell you, this motherfucker at work.
You know what? Maybe so. We usually do an annual Festivus episode. I think we might need to incorporate like a weekly, like this week's bitch minute with Shout It Out Loudcast. Although our listeners right now are saying, "You guys do that already. Why do you need to create a new segment?"
No, that fucking idiot Joey Casada is so fucking annoying.
Oh, but
like that.
But he is a handsome man, so that's okay.
What
all
is
right.
Jericho thinking? Letting him jump in with Kuarantine.
He feels bad. He feels bad for him.
Oh.
He feels bad for him.
I'll bring my Star Wars toys with me.
Wow. See, now you're getting offensive. Because what about our Star Wars toys? We're bringing them on the cruise.
Star Wars toys. I like the movies.
Wait until our cruise cabin mates find out what I do with my little tauntaun at night. But anyways, this is going to be a fun interview with the Klassik 78 guys. It's about 90 minutes of it. It's great stuff.
It's fantastic fucking stuff. You'll see.
It was a lot of fun.
But before we go forward, we always go backwards and break down last week's episode, which was our mailbag episode. And we always do a poll.
Yep.
But we got to give a shout out to our newest sponsor. And we all know him, Anthony Barone. Some of us are lucky enough to call him Tony. And he represents AB CPA Inc. AB CPA Inc. is an accountant firm located in the suburbs of Chicago. that can assist you with all your accountant and tax needs. For businesses, they offer bookkeeping, financial statements, payroll processing, payroll tax returns, sales tax returns, filing federal and state income tax returns, and help with starting your own business as well. For individuals, they offer help with sole proprietorships, rental real estate, trust and estate tax returns, and filing personal, federal, and state income tax returns. So they have access, Tom, to all 50 states.
Awesome. Perfect.
So whether you're in Oregon or Delaware, ABCPA Inc. can prepare you an e-file on your behalf. So far, Tom, I've done 4 states. I'm going to keep alternating them until I repeat somebody. Oh, you already said Maryland.
Oh, another spreadsheet for Zeus.
No, I'm not going. I'm not. On my OCD, no. God
hey,
bless
did
you,
did I say Idaho last week? All right, we're going to do North Dakota this week.
Okay. Yeah. So regardless, the point is Tony can hit you anywhere, whatever state you're in. Did you know, Kiss Army, if you own a business with employees and had a 20% reduction of revenue than you did in 2019 due to COVID or state mandated shutdowns, you might be entitled to additional tax credits. And tax credits are fun and good for you. Take them. And if Tony can get you that, you got to find out. Give him a buzz. And so you can follow him and ABCPA Inc. on Facebook, LinkedIn, and visit them on their website, abcpainc.com. That's abcpainc.com. Or you can email Anthony at tony@abcpainc.com. That's Tony at abcpainc.com. Or call them at 708-430-3232. Again, 708-430-3232.
Yeah, ABCPA Inc.
Woo! Nothing like talking about Kiss and get your taxes done.
Yes, it's all about the revenue.
I enjoy tax shelter conversation. So
can Tony handle any crypto that I might have?
I'm sure he can handle it all. So Loudcasters, Kiss Army, give Tony a buzz. He'll take care of all your tax and all your business needs. So give him a buzz. Like we said, you can catch his email or the phone number and support your fellow Loudcaster.
Absolutely. Yes.
Tom, we did a poll last week. What was the poll?
So we did a mailbag episode, and one of the questions they asked us was, what official release would you like to see next? Now, we didn't specify an official release in terms of CD, vinyl, audio, video, DVD, whatever. But the options were Animalize Live, which obviously that was a DVD release, so you could be talking about audio. Winterland.
Well, it was actually a VHS release.
Ah, good call. That's right.
I'm not sure if the DVD release is valid or a bootleg.
It's a bootleg. I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's a combo, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's better than not having it on DVD at all, but
yeah.
So Animalize Live, Winterland, Palladium 1980, or Hot in the Shade. And the Eric Carr love continues, 39% for the Palladium 1980 show, that was killer. Would love to see that with the Unmasked. That was great. And Zeus, you would have loved it. It was the premiere of them performing You're All That I Want live in concert.
That's why I've always thrown that out. If I could go back and see something or a specific concert, I would like to see that. You know, Eric's debut, something different.
And they also did Talk to Me. Talk to Me.
Ace Frehley.
And here's something that you'll enjoy. So this is 1980. The other 92% of the set list is everything they're playing on End of the Road right now.
Yes, I know.
Anyway, so 39% for Palladium, 33 Hot in the Shade, 16 Animalize Live, 12 Winterland. Couple comments here. Hotter than piss says the set list from the Hot in the Piss tour was really great. Would love an off the soundboard of that tour.
Do you think that some new listener is like, oh, they're doing listener feedback? Who is hot hotter than piss?
I don't know, but people are gonna be like, oh, look at this Kiss podcast. Having the guys from Klassik 7-8 on. I can't wait to tune in. What are they talking about? They have listeners named Hotter Than Piss? Yep, we do. Our buddy Darren, all those are great choices, but Winterland has been around for years. I have Animalized on DVD. I saw Hot in the Shade twice. I would buy them all, but the 1980 show is the gem. Yes. Our buddy Joe Paparlato. Joe, I hope you're going on the cruise again, buddy. He says definitely hands down the Palladium show because the other three already exist in Pro Shot video. Yeah, again, if we're talking video, I don't know if we didn't specify video or audio, but that's okay.
We're not mentioning that fucking shit on this show.
No. Oh God, no, we're not talking about that. No.
Thank you.
The Metal Oasis. Keep an eye out for that podcast soon. Our buddy Adam Stevenson. Palladium 100%. The lineup with Eric and Ace and the Super Kiss costumes is one of my favorites. Kyle Schneider. Opening night of Animalized tour in Brighton, England was a very rare set list. Kiss played 5 songs from Animalized that night. I've Had Enough, Burn Bitch Burn, Get All You Can Take, Heaven's on Fire, and Under the Gun.
Ooh, that is great.
That is pretty cool. And then we'll get into some episode-specific type of comments here on the mailbag. Our buddy Heavy Mayo, who, God bless Heavy Mayo, his mail truck is underwater because he lives in Rhode Island where they got about 11 inches of rain.
Yeah, he better be careful because if he got 2 inches of rain, he'd be underwater.
See, that's offensive.
He's a little guy.
I know a little mailman, and he's right over there.
He's so small you can see his fucking sneakers in his driver's license.
Oh, we love Heavy Mayo. Oh, goodness. Ken and Satan Service post a really smoking hot picture of Marky Post with her shirt undone.
Oh, we were talking about MILFs, I think, from the 90s.
Yes, we were.
Like 50, like actresses that are like 45 to 55.
Woo! Welcome, new listeners. Yeah. Wait, honey, now they're talking about MILFs. What?
Yes.
Lovely Lance. I love the Ricky Nelson reference, but I'm old and I understood it.
Yeah, Garden Party.
Yeah,
I like Ricky Nelson. I like his 50s shit. And he had the great and all real guitar heroes all swear by James Burton. And that guitar solo he did on Hello, Mary Lou by Ricky Nelson is still legendary. And then, do you know where James Burton fucking rocked out live in the 70s?
No, because I've never heard of James Burton.
Oh,
no.
Every guitar guy loves him. Loves him.
Go ahead.
Elvis's band.
Oh, okay.
Elvis's live band.
Nice.
I've sent you that stuff where Elvis is playing, which is great footage. I think I just sent it to Steve Wright, where he's playing Little Sister, and in the middle of it, where it's a mashup of Little Sister and Get Back.
Okay.
With this like band, and they're fucking rocking. It's an awesome video. But
nice.
Anyway, sorry, I digress.
No, it's okay. That's it for Twitter stuff. What do we got on the Book of Face?
On Facebook, Tom, we got different photos. The meme of your buddy Peter North from Rick Rare.
Oh, geez.
Exploding, looks like. We got Ken Ryan put another Marky Post in a bikini.
Nice.
And then we have someone, Daniel Haller Houston says, I'd like to think of Bruce as Willie Chi-Chi.
Oh.
Sal, the boss says he'll come in a separate car. There was no heart attack.
Nice. Yeah. See, that's a listener. That's a guy listening and paying attention to this show. I love it.
Mario Aguilera III. I love Godfather references. Bruce is not Johnny Ola or Paulie.
No, he's not.
We didn't call him that. No. He's definitely not. Or Sicilian Messenger Boy, Johnny Ola. Our buddy.
Think of family here, people.
Oh, God. Now he gets his own soundbite. Oh, God. Here we go. Great.
Another great episode. My personal holy grail item would be a fully restored, remastered Blu-ray DVD of the original TV version of Kiss Meets the Phantom.
Yes.
Complete with the cheesy 70s music. All Ace lines, outtakes, bloopers. You know this stuff must exist somewhere. And as an added bonus, the full Magic Mountain concert.
Bingo.
Then a hidden Easter egg of Sink and Destroy by yours truly. Like he was going well.
Every once in a while, it's like, oh wow, this is a really thoughtful post, and then it's like thinking Stanley here. It's like, I'm telling you,
that's what he does. I like when he does that when he transitions into thinking Stanley. And listen, Paul, what's up with the Dubai VVD?
Oh, geez, the D word. We haven't heard that in a while.
Oh,
I'm telling you, the only chance that any of us have of any Phantom thing is if those box sets that come from overseas. I got a ton of them. If you listen, you know what I'm talking about. Those super deluxe box sets with tons of little knickknacks and books and LPs. If they do something for the 45th anniversary, that might be where you get it. But unfortunately, they're ridiculously priced and they're hard to get. But we talked about it last week, and I think I agree with Zeus. Kiss ain't gonna do shit for the Phantom.
Over on Instagram, Tom, our so-called buddy Joey Casada writes,
Uh-oh.
Every episode is a mailbag, you dopes.
Look, don't do that, Joey. Don't do that.
You're the one who wanted to stick up for him.
Fuck him.
Fuck him in his New York, New Jersey, wherever the fuck he's from.
I wish he would go on the cruise. I would break into his cabin and cut his hair while he's sleeping.
Oh, handsome man. Over on YouTube.
You do.
Nige Savage.
Yeah, Nige.
Always love these mailbag episodes. Wanted to weigh in on a couple points. First, Zeus mentioned he wasn't a fan of naming the podcast SIOL. So I'm dying to know, what were the other names in the mix? That's a great question. What the hell were we thinking of, Tom? Do you remember?
We don't have an answer for that. And I'm dead serious. We were, I remember the exact conversation. I remember I was in my basement sitting in my recliner texting you, and we kept going back and forth. And it wasn't like we fought or had an argument over like 2 or 3 names. We were just like, how about this? We're like, nah. How about this? We're like, okay. And that was it.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and it's specific because we're always long-term planning.
Yeah.
This is Kiss-centric enough that Kiss fans will get it, but we're not boxed into Kiss.
Right.
So we could shout it out Loudcast, as I said, Tom. It could be Hannity and Combs.
Oh, settle down, Combs.
Political conversation could be called Shout It Out Loudcast. Right. Or we could talk about other types of music or whatever.
Yeah.
But
for the record, I like the name of the show. I'm not a huge fan of the song because it's overplayed, but I like the name of the show. But
yeah, if I hear one more fucking person say the Shout It Out Loudcast,
I don't know why that bothers you so much.
Or Shout It Out Loud podcast.
Yeah, that's annoying because it's not. That's annoying. That's annoying. Yeah, just get it right. God damn it.
Anyway. Maybe I should read the rest of this comment.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Secondly, regarding the Sydney show review and Kiss not changing the set list, I think the fact that most of the crowd only knew 2 or 3 songs actually proves that Kiss could and should change the set list to include deep cuts.
That's a excellent observation. Because the point being, if the fans don't know them, then that gives you all the right to change them.
And the people that are the diehards and has been supporting you over the years will enjoy it.
Great point.
They will enjoy it, for their pleasure.
And especially if they put a watermark on it.
Because surely it means that only 3 songs need to stay to keep the casual fans happy. Everything else could rotate. Okay, realistically, that would be too extreme. But why not at least go for the Metallica approach? Roughly half the set remains the same.
Yep.
And the other half rotates.
Yep.
According to the Sydney review, most of the audience wouldn't know the difference either way. And then you're keeping the hardcore fans happy. There's no excuse why they couldn't do this. So the only conclusion is because fuck them. That's why.
There's also one other reason that we've talked about multiple times that takes way too much preparation and work. If you come out and you do it like a Broadway show where it's completely scripted from A to Z and you just get out on stage and do that script, that's what they want to do. And that's fine. That's fine if that's what they want to do, but that's why they're not rotating the set list.
The problem is they've been doing this since fucking 2012, Tom. So the whole Paul thing and someone's going to change the cassette. they weren't using that in 2012, 13, 14, 15. I don't know when they started to, but they were still playing the same songs. So again, it goes to, I think that whether it's Paul and he just can't do it and he doesn't want to take chances or anything like that, but there's no reason why not change some Gene songs or have Eric sing a song, or
I think they
maybe
just
Tommy do a song.
Yeah, I think they honestly, I think they either underestimate the fans or they just. We joke about the fuck them, because fuck them. That's why. But I mean, ultimately,
explain to me why that isn't one of the most obvious answers. Because fuck them. That's why.
Because ultimately, that's why. Yeah, that's why. It takes too much work and practice and timing to learn 45 songs or 35 songs instead of 18 songs.
But they've never been lazy.
Right, but they've also never been 70.
Yeah, but
I'll play devil's advocate here. They're not going to spend all this time off rehearsing 30 different songs and then picking 18 of them. They're not going to do that. The problem is you kind of just hinted at it, they never did that. They've never done that ever. Even when they were in their 30s and 40s, they weren't doing that.
They're musicians. They're professionals. They've been doing this for fucking 50 years.
Yeah.
They should be able to pick up a fucking guitar and do it. They have competent. It's not Paul looking over and seeing Ace there. Hey, Ace, you remember how this goes? It's Tommy. And it's not fucking Peter. He can't hit the things anymore, but it's Eric.
It's the same reason. Why make the Creatures of the Night box set $200? Because fuck them, we'll make it $300 and they'll buy it. So they're like, why should we spend our days off rehearsing 30 songs? Fuck them, they'll come and see us play the same 18.
Because you're a fucking professional musician.
Yes, they are.
But you should enjoy what you fucking do. You mean to tell me, like, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here.
Do it.
All this shit about, there's no money in making new music. Oh, I'm scared I'm competing with my old self. Every other musician is putting everything out is wrong, but you're correct. No, you don't want to put anything out because you don't want to put in either the effort.
That's it.
Or your voice can't do anything.
No, right. His voice in a studio, his voice could do anything you wanted in a studio.
I'm just saying, dude, there's no.
You said it. They don't want to do it. They don't. It takes too much energy and effort. And Paul, with his fragile ego, cannot tolerate Rolling Stone giving a new Kiss album 1 star.
Dude,
he can't.
It's so aggravating.
You can't handle that.
You're an artist. You find the urge to do. I want to do some, R&B music. I want to paint.
Yep.
Gene now is going to be painting. I want to do this. I want to do this. But you don't have the thing that people pay you money for. That was only if you get paid. You're fucking insulting everybody then.
But they haven't been, you're right, but they haven't been a creative band in over a decade. They're a full-blown nostalgia.
2012 monster.
Yeah, right. They're a full-blown nostalgia.
But they'll put that energy in marketing and other shit, but not the music.
Right. Of course. That's absolutely right. Because,
Just once.
I know.
Once, I would love to have them sit down and then have us ask those quite type of questions. Help me out. Help me understand. Are you just fucking lazy? Because that's one word I would never describe Paul, and I would never describe Gene as lazy people.
No, I think Gene just sounds like an out-of-touch old man when he says, "Oh, there's no money in music. Nobody wants to hear X, Y, and Z." Dude, all these bands are still putting out new shit. Maybe they're not selling gold or platinum, but their fans love it. They love the new material.
Eyes light up when he talks about music and other and old artists, or if he talks about old horror movies and he talks about things and he gets excited. So I know there's love there for this stuff.
Yep.
But fuck, I don't know if he's doing it to back Paul up because Paul's like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. They got to put a unified front. Like, we're not doing new music. It's just fucking stupid.
I just think I think they're old, and lazy is a very accusatory word. But I don't.
It's not. They're not lazy. They're hardworking people, but they're giving a lazy excuse. So,
anyways, there's our tangent for that. We haven't talked about that in a while, but good one. Thanks, Nige.
Yeah, I know. Fucking egg, pissing me off now. Kiss remasters films. Hey guys. I can't say hey guys. Bruce, sorry. Every week with you guys, with every episode, gives me a good laugh.
Nice.
Not only are you guys funny and entertaining, but the content is really great too. A much deserved #1 Kiss podcast. Keep smashing it, guys.
Wow. Thank you. That's awesome. Appreciate that.
Mark Stewart, guys, I love you, but I got to disagree on one thing. Kiss could bring back Eric and Bruce for a tour. You actually think that playing in makeup is where the money is? Yes.
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 How much money do they need? They're in their 70s, for God's sake. Dude, do you even know Kiss, Mark?
Those are two separate things about how much money do they need. That's not the question. The question is, it's all about the makeup.
Shit, he goes, they'll be dead in 10 years. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Come on, fucking bite your tongue. Paul is out of his 70-year-old mind. You can't take it with you, Paul. Paul is in great shape. He's not going to be dead in 10 years unless he gets hit by a bus. Or he falls off his bike. Mr. Antonio 2005. Just a thought. I believe Vinnie trademarked Eric Carr Fox makeup in his own a few years back. So as part of the deal with the Creatures box set that the company producing, it will need to pay Vinnie for the use of the images. Could this be a small part of the box set pricing increase along with other factors? It looks very impressive, this set. Here's the thing, John. If Vinnie still owned that makeup, the Ankh Warrior, why is he performing in it and not exactly the correct Ankh Warrior makeup? Right? He doesn't put it in the way it was when he was in Kiss, so he doesn't get in trouble.
He's also talking about Vinnie owning Eric Carr's makeup too.
Yeah, but he says he trademarked Eric Carr's makeup and his own a few years back.
Right.
Okay. So if he owned his own, I'm just speaking for that part of it.
Right.
He wouldn't be doing that. And no, I don't think Vinnie has anything to do with Eric Carr's makeup right now. I don't. But
well, I would love somebody to explain to me why the box set is 300 when the Destroyer one was 200.
Because fuck them. That's why. Tom.
Right. And it gets fucking annoying coming up with that answer, but we created that response because it fits.
Yes. Marty White.
Uh-oh.
I've played drums since I was in the 5th grade. I hate drum solos.
Yep.
Especially
awful.
Drum solos played by bashers. I've played a drum solo twice in those 40 years. Once the dude in control of the band made me do a 12-bar solo in between the first chorus and second verse of Birthday, one fucker of a shitty song by the Beatles. In rehearsal, I played something great, but as performance, I just played a basic AC/DC beat to piss off the dude who made me do the solo. The second time I got pissed at the bassist who kept fucking up. So at the appropriate time, I started playing an angry solo, which got louder and angrier as I went on. I got a huge applause at the end. What a bunch of twats, I thought. What kind of a moron wants to hear a drum solo in a bar?
Jesus, nice.
Dude, who wants to hear a drum solo at all? Seriously.
Yeah, good point.
Anytime I think of a drum solo, I think of leaving the Bruins playoff games and going outside and the guys on the fucking white buckets.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that's what I got from the tube there, Tom.
All right, we got a couple emails to get through. Let's see here. Our buddy Craig Moran. Greetings to my favorite Kiss and Cruise tards with a podcast. Uh-oh. Your rants about the cruise discounts and Creatures of the Night box set were great, and I agree with you both. It's a crime they're not doing something for the people who are already paid full price. But as you said, unfortunately, they have your money. If they didn't add another cruise, you'd have been perfectly content to pay what you did, because you already did. They discount things only when it suits them, which leads me to the Creatures box set. This is by far the best box set they've done, and they know it, which is why they have the $299 price tag. Comparing this to, in my opinion, the two gold standard box sets, Metallica's Black Album, $250, and Rush's Moving Pictures box set, $299, Creatures of the Night doesn't stack up, not even close. You already listed the Metallica contents. Rush's box set has 3 CDs, 5 LPs, a Blu-ray, and tons of other goodies. And it originally was on sale for $299, and it's on sale on Amazon for $199 right now. Creatures should be around $200. But as much as we all complain, we're all getting it for its bloated price tag. I'm pissed at them, but more so pissed at myself. One last thing, Zeus. I love Turn on the Night, but the only way that's getting played nowadays is if they pull Todd Kearns up on stage for the vocals. Love the episode week after week. You guys are killing it. Cheers, Craig. Thank you, Craig. All right.
Yeah, I'm well aware, and I'm living in reality that they're not playing Turn on the Night.
Yeah.
It was a wish list.
Let's see here. Our buddy Wes. Gentlemen, always enjoy the mailbag episodes and hearing fellow Kiss fans' queries and your colorful answers. Just want to say I'm right there with you, Zeus, on those horrible Creatures t-shirts. I thought they all looked amateurish. Where's the tank? Some excitement? Nothing on the back? Lazy. And like you, Tom, I ordered all the Creatures recordings and even picked up a couple of Creatures coffee mugs with their 20% off sale. Those were nice. Awaiting your next installment, Wes. Yeah, we love Wes.
Now, the thing I want to say is supposedly those were replicas of the bootlegs, and that's why they're specifically made to look like that.
That's why I like them. I think the artwork looks kind of fucked up. I think they're kind of cool looking, but that's okay. And then we wrap up feedback with a message from Mike Grimy Grimes. He writes, "You guys are fucking hysterical and totally entertaining. Can't wait to delve into the archive. I'm good buddies with Ryan, Jeremy, and Phil. They have played it at my venue here in Nashville, the Basement East. And I saw Kiss on August 27th, 1975 in Owensboro, Kentucky when I was 11. And it 100% set my career path. Keep up the good work. Cheers, Mike Grimy Grimes. P.S. I have a record store also called Grimey's." And he attaches the ticket stub from that show with the date and the price of $5.
Wow.
So Mike Grimes is the co-owner of The Basement and Grimey's new and pre-loved music. He's located at 1604 8th Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee, 37203. And The Basement East is at 917 Woodland Street in Nashville. Check him out at grimeys.com and thebasementnashville.com. And for that, Grimy, you are the comment of the week. Check him out online, or if you even live in that area, go check him out. I know we got listeners in that area, so tell us what you know about Grimey's of The Basement.
Good answer. Good answer. I like the way you think. We're going to be watching you.
Tom, what we do next is we give a shout out to our Patreons. And Patreon is where people can come support the show, help us out. And with that, they get some perks from us, whether it be some merch, some involvement in the show. Our ARC, album review crew pick, is coming up. So they will be involved in that. And before you know it, March Madness will come around. They'll be involved in that. All this stuff is coming up, and we always like to get our Patreon subscribers who are vital to Shout It Out Loudcast. And this week, we like to recognize our newest Patreon. His name is Josh Brown. Josh just jumped on, and Josh, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. Tom and I, we really appreciate your support for the show and all the members of Patreon. Again, Patreon goes to whether it be the website, mics, software that we buy, hard drives that we have to buy to actually keep all our stuff, so I don't someday pull out the rest of my hair and look like Tom. Everything
bald jokes, damn you.
All right, let me get this out. If everything vanishes and disappears, if our computer crashes or something like that, all this stuff is very helpful. It helps us try to grow the show, put the time in that this show deserves. And thank you to Patreon, Josh Brown specifically, for jumping on board. And if you want to help the show, and we get this all the time, hey, how can I help you? How can you guys do more of this, do this and that? Well, Patreon is your best way of helping the show. And you can log on, go to the app, patreon.com, or the best way is go to our awesome website and see Patreon on the landing page. Click on that and then find a tier that you like and support the show. We appreciate it. We thank you for that. And we hope that you can come join the Patreon family, which is a real fun group. And we actually have, Tom, when this comes out, we will have had an episode where we did with all our Patreons a live thing where we're letting them in on some breaking news with Shout Out Loudcast, because I'm sure all you guys and gals have seen that little image that we put out. You'll see what that's all about. Patreon members will know about it yesterday.
Depending on when you listen.
Yeah. You guys in Patreon will always get, preferential treatment with us. And we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Josh Brown, thank you so much for joining the family. Huge help. As Zeus stated, it helps out with so many different things that go into the show. Equipment, software, all different things that are required to keep this show up and running, to give you the show that you guys want, the show that we want to give you every week. So we thank you guys so much. The entire Patreon family, special shout out this week to Josh Brown. Thank you, buddy.
Tom, what's going on in Kiss World?
Well, the tour is rolling along in Australia. Let's see. On September 10th, they'll be playing in the Gold Coast, Australia. Then they take a few weeks off and come back and do a show in Florida. Then they have those festivals, Louder Than Life in Kentucky, Aftershock in Sacramento. And then it's the cruise. So kind of quiet on the social media front from all the members. Not much action happening there. By the time this episode drops, the new Off the Soundboard Des Moines 77 will have dropped. That was kind of funny. Zeus and I had a little laugh. I'm like, do you know that comes out this Friday? And I was
how did you order it?
Oh, I'll get it next year. I got it from KOL. Yeah.
You reminded me.
Yeah.
So I went on Amazon, ordered, and it'll be here on Friday afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'll stream it anyways on my ride to work. So that's coming soon. Other than that, again, kind of quiet, except for one thing. Let's talk about this. We did mention, I think last week, on the day that this episode drops on September 10th, there is the Kiss Cancer Goodbye fundraiser, which is streaming live. You can go to Creatures Fest or Neil Davis Facebook page and check out the information. Breaking news that Todd Kearns will be performing, but breaking news that's really not that breaking. Vinnie Vincent was scheduled to perform at this. Quote, unfortunately, our dear friend Vinnie Vincent was also working on a special performance for the event, but the show he wanted to do ultimately had too many moving parts that could not be worked out by this weekend, so he is going to need to postpone his performance until another time. There's Vinnie.
I see it. And then a bunch of other people and podcasts and Facebook groups jumped all over it. And why the hell do you want to do work with him? Why do you? I get both sides of it, because if you do get Vinnie, it's very rare. So in order to get Vinnie, you've got to give him that space and don't make him feel that anxious that you boxed him in. And because you do that, you give him that out to be like, I'm just not feeling it. And then he's out. Now, at some point, somebody like Neil might be able to turn back and be like, you know what? I'm fucking done with you. Now, did Vinnie guarantee or promise Neil and the Creatures Fest crew? I don't know. Obviously, Neil is still calling him our friend Vinnie. So personally, he's not that upset about it, seems like. But I also think that he's trying to keep Vinnie close still, because again, nobody else can get this on. Nobody can get Vinnie to do anything. And Neil is probably his only outlet, and he still wants to keep that afloat in case Vinnie ever comes through. Other people are like, fuck him. I'm all set.
Dude,
I don't know.
How many times do you have to touch the hot stove before you realize it burns your hand when you do it? Come on. I mean, I understand he's friends, but stop. Enough. I like Neil. Neil's a nice guy. We met Vinnie at the meet and greet. We talked about it. Vinnie was very surprising and wonderful to chat with. But in terms of relying on him for booked events, no. He's mixing business with pleasure. Can't do that.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You can't box him in. And if you can't box him in, you keep giving him that out. and he's going to take it every single fucking time.
And then you keep pissing off potential customers or potential buyers or people involved with an event. They're going to be like, fuck this.
His MO could be, well, we're getting closer to the date. I think you have you boxed in. What about if you pay me this now? I don't know.
Nobody knows.
It seems like
nobody knows.
That would make sense. I've heard our buddy Joe D'Angelo's talked about it. Oh, by the way, Cruise Fest is coming up, and that go check out Cruise Fest. I think it's cruisefest.com. Joe D'Angelo, great guy. He always puts that on. Unfortunately, I don't think we can make it in time there.
No.
But check it out. He always puts on a good show.
And Joe's a great guy. One of those guys that you want to patronize his business and get involved. Joe's a great guy.
And I think our friend Courtney Cronin, Spencer Kulick, Lane Simmons, fucking Tweed is going to be there. Our buddy Hal Sparks will be there. And I'm not sure who else, but regardless, he always does a good show. But I heard Joe talk about it. Like, this is the kind of stuff that he does. He sets up these things. He was going to do some marketing, sign some, distribute some of these guitars and everything. And then eventually he heard what Joe was doing. And then he's like, yeah, I've decided to do it, but I don't need you. And Joe's like, what?
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. You think you could do it on your own, but you need professionals. Everybody thinks that, well, I can do it on my, look, I get that shit too. I'm an attorney. I do a lot of bankruptcy work. Well, I kind of think you go through the stuff, you talk to them about it, you get it all. And then at the last minute, someone's like, well, I think I could do this on my own. Why should I pay you to do it? Okay, good fucking luck to you.
Yeah.
And then they fuck up, and then they start scrambling around looking for an attorney to come clean it up. So when I get those calls from people that are like, oh, I try to do this pro se, but I'm like, fuck no, you fucked over some other attorney. I'm not cleaning up your mess. You want me to do it? I'm going to charge you fucking at least $500 or $1,000 more than I would have charged you originally, because I'm cleaning up your fucking mess. Fuck off. Nice. I'm not dealing with that shit. And
there
anyways,
you go.
But and that's the problem. So I think some people have learned, and then some people think they still want to give him another chance. To each his own. We don't know that relationship, and if Neil does, Neil does. Good for him. I don't think it makes Neil a bad person because he keeps relying on him.
Oh no, I never said that. No, I just think it's.
I'm not saying you did. I'm saying he's been getting a lot of shit. Like, why the fuck? Oh,
well, like I said, it's
canceled on Cancer Kids. He didn't cancel on fucking Cancer Kids.
No, that's a silly way
you know what I mean?
It.
It's just everybody's so over the top. And if you heard us 10 minutes before this episode started,
it was worse.
Venting about sometimes this Kiss community, and it's not just Kiss, but it's like rock fans and podcasts and social media.
It's any community that shares an enjoyment of a certain topic. There's toxic, pain in the ass people involved.
Facebook groups, haters. Why do you like this? This fucking guy's an asshole. I met this guy once. I asked for his autograph, and he told me to fuck off, and he kicked me in the fucking nuts. Oh, he did?
Oh, he did? Really?
Then I like him even more. But you know what I mean. It's just fucking nonsense. Yeah. Whatever. Regardless, if you do listen, it's free concert, apparently. And if you can, support the show. And I think they do some raffles or something. And go support Neil in the cancer event Creature Fest is doing. So that's nice. Other than that, Tom, not much, right?
Nope.
And so let's get ready to talk about Klassik 78, Tom. But before we do, I'm going to go dancing with Sanna Marin, the Prime Minister of Finland.
Well, we're back from the break, and that didn't go the way we all thought it was with Zeus and his fantasy lady there. So yikes.
Her fucking picket fence, Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and the Prime Minister of Estonia. My triple threat.
Oh God.
The three of them. MILF political leaders.
Oh, jeez. There we go. Nice.
Yes. So, Tom, we talked with Tom Higgins, local guy.
Yes.
From Malden, Massachusetts, town over from us in Medford and Arlington, Mass.
Yep.
And we were talking about getting them on. We just try to find the right time to get Joe and Charlie on. Funny thing is, the local guy was the guy we've never had on, but the two other stars were guys that we've had on before. And so we managed to make this work. And when we got them on, we didn't just want to, have them tell us a little bit about the album. We wanted to break it fucking down.
Yeah, we started with a little interview Q&A type stuff, and then we just got into like the Shout It Out Loudcast style like album review, track by track breakdown, and it was incredible. So great to hear the in-depth details from all three of them, and you could see how much they loved this project and how much they love Kiss and working on it, writing it, producing it. It's a really exciting interview, and it's not just your standard interview with a band. This is a breakdown of an album, and we were really excited for it.
When we talked, you could see the labor of love these guys had with this album.
Totally.
And it's funny because you're thinking, well, Charlie's the big star, right? Nope. There was no egos involved. They all had their part in this. Obviously, Tom was the originator, I believe, of this. And then you got Joe involved. And then on this Phantoms album, Charlie comes on. And listen to them talking about this music stuff back and forth, and these little nuggets of Kiss like info. And as Charlie says, they were planting these things purposely, all these little Easter eggs. And guys, you're going to hear all about it in all this glory of these 70s Kiss type songs, all on this Klassik 78 Phantoms album. The discussion is awesome. And I think we should just cut right to it, right?
Go for it. And by chance, if you have not heard the Phantoms album yet, pause this episode, buy it, listen to it, because when we get to the track by track breakdown part of the interview, it'll really make it that much better if you're familiar with this music.
Here's Klassik 78.
All right. So this week we're excited for our special guests. We have from Klassik 78, Tom Higgins, Joe McGinness, and Charlie Benante. Joe and Charlie have been here before. This is Tom's first visit to Shout Out Loudcast, and we are excited to talk all things Klassik 78. Welcome, guys, to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Good evening.
Charlie and Joe, welcome back, my friends. Awesome. Tom, great to see you for the first time.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be here. Charlie and Joe and I haven't been able to chat in a while, so it's good that the three of us together with you guys today.
Oh,
too. So
perfect. Excellent. See?
So we can lead them to the next album. Here you go. Right after this is done, you guys can start back up again.
Yes.
Guys, what we usually do when we have guests on, we do the Murph question, which is a couple of Kiss questions for everybody. We never got to it for some reason. I think we were waiting for Chris to come on, Joe, last time. So we didn't think we had time, but we had about a half an hour to kill. Had we known then, we would have asked you. And Charlie, I think we got right into that Kiss draft. We did a live Kiss set list draft with Jericho. And of course, we didn't get on with him either. So it's all Chris's fault.
It's all Chris's fault. It's always his fault.
All right. So these are really easy. I'm going to start with the newest person first on Shout Out Loudcast, and that's Tom. And then we'll go to Charlie and then Joe. So favorite Kiss member. And that could be right now. It could be growing up, whatever you want to say.
I would have to say it would be Ace. Ace is the reason why I play guitar. Seeing those guys from the beginning, for some reason, this guy with the silver who didn't say anything but was playing all this great stuff, just I zoomed in on that. So I'll go with Ace. I don't know about today because I don't really follow him too much in terms of seeing him live and whatnot.
Okay.
But back in the day, he was undeniable. So he's my guy.
All right.
All right, Charlie, what about you?
I don't have a favorite member. I always like before them as a unit. So I wasn't a big Ace fan or a big Gene. I love them all. Like the Beatles. There were four of them, and that's how it was.
Did you get a friendship with any of the four more so than the others? Like
Gene.
By Gene.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right, Joe, you're up, buddy.
Well, it's a tough one for sure, like Charlie said, but I would have to pick Paul Stanley. Just
Paul, okay.
Just an incredible talent all the way around. You know what I mean? Singer, songwriter. Just he has the whole thing going on. So, but yeah, that's definitely my answer for sure.
Okay.
Gene's a close second. Team's a close thing.
All right.
Tom, how about your favorite Kiss song? And again, growing up, right now, this week, whatever.
Today, I'd say "King of the Nighttime World." Oh man, that song is just perfect in so many ways.
Yes, great pick.
I know, and I'm going to bring that up a little bit later because I think I have that on one of these songs. Because I'll tell you, this whole album, I'm like, dude, is that this? Is that this song? Are they taking it from this? Is this what this? There's so much of that it drove me nuts. I think I heard it a couple times. I'll ask you about it. How about you, Charlie? Do you have anything that sticks out?
I was just listening to side 4 of Alive 2, and All American Man came on,
Yes.
and I had to crank it up a bit and just listen to it because that song is like, that's such a Paul song.
Oh, it's
Everything
perfect.
about it. It's a great song.
Yep. Joe.
So this is a tricky one, and I don't want to get based too hard because I'm.
If you say Shandy, we're disconnecting.
No, it's not Shandy. I promise you.
Okay.
But it's weird because I look at Kiss in so many sections. You have so many great eras. Obviously, the 4 original members being the strongest. But I don't know. It changes week to week. I don't know. I've been listening to Creatures of the Night lately.
Okay.
I don't know. Probably something off that album. I don't have a definitive answer right now.
It's a hard
Probably
question to
something off
answer.
Creatures.
It's a hard question.
All right, we'll take the title track. I got to throw something down. We'll say the title track. Does that work for you?
There you go.
All right. Then this is going to be pretty tough as well. Do you have a favorite Kiss album, Tom?
Yeah. I have to keep the first record. I really love that record, and I bounce between that and Rock and Roll Over a lot. But Rock and Roll Over to me is Kiss captured at their pinnacle being themselves, and Rock and Roll Over always does it for me.
That seems to be one of the most popular answers every time we do these questions with guests. That's probably the most votes.
Yeah.
Charlie, what about you? Favorite Kiss album?
It's always been Rock and Roll Over. Always.
There you go. Okay. Joe.
Once again, a very tough one. My favorite makeup album is Rock and Roll Over.
Wow. All right. We'll go with that. Okay. All right. Rock and Roll Over. That's always a big winner for everybody.
All right. Now, this is going to be a little tough for Charlie, but how many Kiss concerts have you been to, Tom?
I thought about this the other day. I think I've been to 15. Okay. Possibly 16 or 17 if you include like the unplugged convention.
Oh, the convention. Yep.
Oh, were you there in Boston?
Yeah, I was at that. Yeah.
So was I.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yep.
But I really don't count that. But basically 15, 16.
Okay. Now, Charlie, how many shows have you been to as a guest in the stands? Like not touring with the band, but just like sitting in the stands or the bleachers, wherever, whatever. Would you guess?
About 8 to 10, maybe.
Okay. All right.
Something like that.
All right.
And then after that, of course, I saw them every night on the tour. So that was like 20 something shows, and then festivals, and after that,
Jesus.
So it's quite a bit,
Oh, I'm sure. Awesome. Yeah. Joe, what about you?
I've seen Kiss 8 or 9 times. I think it's about 8. But I've also seen some other cool things. Seen them on Good Morning America. I was in the studio audience for that.
Oh, wow.
So
that's cool.
Seen some cool stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, in concert about 8 or 9 times. I think it's 8.
Oh, okay.
All right, last one, then we'll get to all the classic 78 stuff. So, do you have a favorite Kiss memory?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few, but I think the one of them is finding out about them for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. And the older kids in my neighborhood, the neighborhood is very tight. All the houses are close together. I was about 6. All the teenagers were hanging out, smoking and drinking and whatever the hell they were doing. They were cranking some tunes on the corner with their portable 8-track player. And I came over and I was like, "What is this?" And it was Flaming Youth was playing on the thing.
Wow!
And I came over to see what they were playing, and the Alive 8-track was on the ground next to the 8-track player. So I was like, "What is this?" And they said, "The music that you're hearing is by these guys that you're looking at. This is a rock and roll band. And that was my intro into the whole thing. And then I followed all of them around for the next, 6 months, asking them all about Kiss, and are they coming? I always tell this to people. I always thought that Kiss was playing at Boston Garden every weekend. I didn't know how it worked, but I was too young to go anyway. But I kept asking all the older kids, figuring they knew, But anyways,
Nice.
that's my first introduction, my memory that I can think of right now.
Nice.
Charlie.
Wait, what was the question again?
So
Your
favorite memory.
favorite Kiss memory. It could be as a kid. It could be now as
Playing with them,
playing with them, whatever.
Like meeting Gene. I don't know, whatever you
Yeah,
want.
oh man, there's a lot of them. One time we were doing this guitar magazine shoot,
Okay.
and they were doing an interview with all of us and Kiss. And then after that, we went to get lunch, and I'll never forget this, is because it's twofold. And we sit down, and it was about 1:00. It was after breakfast, and all of us wanted breakfast because we woke up late and, whatever. And the waitress said, no, we stopped serving breakfast. And then Gene, I'll never forget it, he had the menu like this. And she said that we lowered the menu, and he looks up and he's like, do you have eggs back there? And she's like, yes. And he's like, is there a grill back there? And she's like, yes, of course. And he's like, then you can make a scrambled egg back there or a fried egg. Please call your manager. And then the manager comes over, and he got us breakfast.
There you go. The power of Gene.
That's an amazing story.
That's
You could so visualize him doing it too.
Get back there and make me an omelet.
In that Gene way. But then after we went back we were rehearsing at Mates because we were going on tour after that. And Gene and Paul came in, and we was talking, and then Paul put a guitar on, and we started playing songs, old songs, you know what I mean? And he knew every song. Gene wouldn't get up and sing. He was just like laughing because we all knew that I knew the songs. Paul and I would just go and bang one after another. And it was just like one of those experiences, it was like eggs and then that.
Wow.
That's a memory. That's a memory.
It's awesome.
Joe, what about you, buddy? Favorite Kiss memory?
I'm being a kid and learning about this band is, like Tom said, is absolutely, there's something about it that was just magic.
Yeah.
You have no clue who they are. You see them. My older brother had the solo albums on his wall. Mm-hmm. He had the vinyl, and just, I remember being terrified of Gene, but so curious of like, who the hell, are these guys? And I just thought that was just so cool. But later on, he handed me a cassette, and it was Paul's solo album. And I just remember being so excited, listening to Love in Chains over and over and over and over, and like feeling like I had to know everything about this band. So, the early memories of discovering them, was magical in my eyes. But, meeting them obviously at some point later on down the road was very cool too.
Nice. Awesome. All right, let's get into some classic 78. So we haven't had you guys on before to talk about this. Obviously the new record, Phantoms. So let's start. Tom, if you want to kind of start, tell us a little bit of a quick story about the origins of Classic 78, how you came to this point, how Joe and Charlie and how you guys are where you are right now.
Sure. A few years back, just for the hell of it, I wanted to see, being such a big fan of the band since the 70s, and just loving that stuff and learning it as I was learning that as I was learning how to play guitar and learning how to sing and all that stuff. It never occurred to me to ever. I've written songs for myself, original material and whatnot, but it never occurred to me ever to try to write a Kiss song. If I tried to write a Kiss song, what would I come up with? So just for the hell of it, I thought about it, and I came up with some bits and pieces and put down reference vocals. And I was like, wow, this sounds pretty cool. And then I would play it to my friends who were Kiss fans, and they were thinking it was unreleased demos or, outtakes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
my buddy, Rory, who I grew up with, he, great drummer. He's been a friend of mine for almost 40 years. And, I asked him, I said, hey, listen, I got these songs, I was thinking maybe we could cut them, try to do it like Kiss would do it in terms of parts and feel and style. If we can get somebody who sounds like Paul, I can cover the Gene and Ace vocals, and we'll figure out a Peter situation or whatnot. But maybe we could record some of the stuff and then release it, and just to anonymously, just to see, put it out there and see how people respond, just because it was fun and it sounded cool.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, "Yeah, let's do that." So we started cutting some tracks, and in the meantime, trying to find a Paul. I reached out to Joe. I saw some stuff he posted online years ago of him. It was just audio of him doing like 100,000 Years and Tonight You Belong to Me, and I think Modern Day Delilah as well. And I was like, this guy has got the Paul vibe down big time. So we had already done some of the initial demos. So I reached out to him, told him what we were doing, sent him a couple demos of a Gene thing, and I think maybe a Paul thing with my reference vocal on it, which doesn't sound anything like Paul, but just to give him an idea of what he'd be singing to. And he jumped right on. He dug it and said, "Yeah, I'd love to be part of it." And that's how that started. So Rory and Joe and I finished 6 songs that we were going to release. We released them in February of 2017 anonymously. Just created a website, created a Facebook page, posted on some Kiss sites, and then the Kiss fan base just shared it and shared it and shared it and shared it, and buying up the album. And Charlie heard about it probably within a week of it being released, and he started posting nice things about us on Twitter and his social media. And he reached out to Joe, he reached out to us, and supporting us. I think this is funny, and I've said this before, but Charlie would be on the road and he'd have meet and greets, and his meet and greet was really be a Klassik 78 listening party, because he's playing our record. Have you heard this? It'd have them listen to it. Yeah, right.
Nice.
So that was cool. So Charlie was supportive as a fan and as someone who appreciated what we were doing the whole time. So anyways, the first record did so well that we thought, hey, if we can do a second one that was just as good, if not a little better, let's try that. And if we feel that strongly about it, we'll release it. So 8 months later, we had side 2, and the more of the same. We did the same thing. We didn't announce it. Just on the day before Halloween, boom, we just did a blast, and everybody, the frenzy happened all over again. So shortly after that, drummer Rory, he didn't particularly enjoy the process of the last session. I think he felt it was a little too rushed, and I was kind of pushing the ball down the field a little too fast, and I don't think he really enjoyed it. And it seemed more like a session to him. He's a massive Kiss fan and a massive Peter fan. So after we were done with that, I just said, listen, we don't have to do this together anymore. And we had been in bands together for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I was always the manager, or the primary musical director, or the tour manager, or the production manager, whatever it was, no matter what we were doing. And stuff runs its course after a while. And you don't want to, run it into the ground where it becomes an issue with the friendship and stuff like that. So anyways, to make a long story longer, I had some stuff. I kept writing stuff, and I didn't want to. I didn't know if I wanted to do another record. The fans loved it. Joe was, loved it, and the fans were giving us a great response. And even Rory loved the adulation of getting a response to both records. But I kind of wanted to take a break because I wasn't sure if I wanted to move forward. So I took 2018 and most of 2019 off, and in the meantime, Joe and Charlie met at an Anthrax show, and I guess Joe, you want to pick that up from there?
Yeah, I actually saw Charlie in Albany, New York, with Anthrax, and first time meeting him in person. We talked Kiss and all that great stuff. How can you not? And I just said in passing, we're thinking about doing more stuff, and we're going to need a drummer. I don't know if that's something you're interested in or not. We had tossed around the idea of potentially having numerous drummers and guest, spots. And he said, I want to do them all. And I said, I am 110% okay with that. And me being a huge fan of Charlie and what he's done, actually in my opinion, Anthrax has done the best Kiss covers ever. I'm sure you guys have heard them.
We agree. We agree.
Incredible stuff. Yes,
they're awesome.
Being a kid listening, and then I was just blown away. So I knew his passion for the music, and we hit it off. And I ran it by Tom. I said, I kind of said to Charlie that kind of let the cat out of the bag, the cat man out of the bag, so to speak. So then it was kind of, just a matter of working things out and logistics on how we'd record it. And here we are.
Wow. That's awesome. Now I gotta tell you, we're late in the Klassik 78 stuff. So I heard about it. I never heard the music. And then when Phantoms came out, everybody was like, oh my God, you guys got to hear this. I'm like, all right, we'll hear it. Relax. Now, mind you, we didn't know the people behind it. We certainly didn't know Charlie. And I think you were already on our show and we had no idea you had anything to do with this at all at that point.
Yeah.
The one thing I remembered though, is during that whole quarantine thing, Charlie did this awesome thing. I think you and Jericho, both you guys utilized that time better than any other musician that I like and I follow on social media. You guys did a lot with that time. And you guys did a Mr. Speed cover.
Oh, incredible.
And the thing about it that I'll never forget is I'm like, how the fuck did he get? Oh, so they just used Paul's voice, or they must be recording over a live cut of Paul, like a demo or something, because that's not Paul, because who's doing that? Because there's no way that's Paul. And I was just blown away. And then when someone said it was you, Joe, I was like, there's no fucking way that sounds like him. That's exactly him. And so when this thing came up to be, and I'm like, oh, Charlie's part of this. And I started listening to this. I was like, I get what the hoopla is all about and why all the Kiss fans are ecstatic. This is something that I'll say personally, I've always wondered if people really like early rock and roll, like the 50s, Elvis, Chuck Berry, things like that. I'm always like, why can't people just create music like that? Because we all love those songs. But how do you get that vibe? How do you get that sound? You guys just did that with Kiss in the 70s, which is amazing. And in and of itself, never mind just the vocals, but the sound quality, you would have no idea. You're right. This sounds like demos in 78, except the production's better. It's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
The thing that stood out to me listening to Phantoms was obviously, the vocals, Joe do it with Paul and Tom, just absolutely, you guys just crushing the Gene, the Ace, the Paul. But like Zeus said, the thing that really, really just blew me away was you captured the sonics of that, that rock and roll over Love Gun, that 76, 78 era. Charlie with Peter's, the snare drum even was exact, it was perfect. The guitar tone, just the overall production is it's just stunning. For diehard Kiss fans, it was such a treat. The Klassik 78 side 1, side 2, those were great, but Phantoms was just spectacular. Can you tell us a little bit about or Charlie, capture, for you, for a drummer like you, it's probably as easy as pie, but tell people like us, what did you do to those drums to get them to sound exactly like what Peter was doing, on Rock and Roll Over Love Gun, that type of stuff there? Because it's perfect.
Well, we talked about this a lot, about how, it was going to be recorded and the technique and the vibe and all that stuff. And the most important thing was the snare drum sound, because Peter has a very identifiable snare drum sound.
Absolutely.
On Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun.
Yep.
So that is the sound that I heard these songs have, basically. And what I did was I had an older kit and I took the bottom heads off, and we mic'd it in a certain way that was very 70s kind of lo-fi. And we experimented a lot. Me and our engineer, Awesome, he really helped out a lot. And just as soon as we got the tones right, then it was up to me to kind of channel that Peter Criss vibe.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I couldn't play the song like I would because it may be a bit too much. So I kind of had to pull it back and what would Peter do here? Well, he would definitely do a snare drum roll. That's Peter Criss,
Sure.
Peter would never do like a triplet. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? He wouldn't do stuff like that. He was more swing, rolls, and that's what I did. So we spoke about this a lot, actually, Tom and I, and just capturing that vibe and capturing that sound, because if we got that on tape, well, then we were half the way there.
Did you have a more of an appreciation of Peter's skill after trying to replicate it? Because if as a musician, Peter gets the most shit for saying, "Oh, Peter Criss as a drummer, this and that." But what do you think?
I've never said a bad thing about Peter Criss. So it wasn't. I've always loved him. I thought he was. When I first started listening to Kiss, I thought he was the real musician in the band.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And he had the best voice too. God, he's so awesome.
See, now Peter, everyone knows that listen to the show. He's my guy. He's my favorite. And I always try to stick up for him with a lot of people. But you know what? You and Joey Casada have been on here so many times, just always sing his praise. And I'm like, fuck the rest of you idiots. I'll listen to the drummers that are telling me how good he is, and they all pick up, by 79 and 80, he was done. He couldn't play. And Paul always gives him shots in interviews and stuff. But I trust you guys telling me that no, he had his own style and he was a very good drummer.
Right. From like 75 to 77, those years, Peter Criss made such a mark on me that, I'll never forget it. And I always say that period means the most to me. Peter's playing there was that 100,000 year solo on Alive to this day is fucking awesome.
That's so great.
Listening to the first song on Phantoms, so Show Me Your Love. So it's interesting because it's almost like you're channeling like a little bit of like Black Diamond, and then it just kicks into like your version of I Stole Your Love kind of vibe there. I mean,
that's what I got too, Tom.
Yeah, it's just and you could see the smile on Zeus and I faces because that's what you guys did. You weren't a Kiss cover band. You wrote original material, but recorded it and played it the way that classic era band did it, and it's just outstanding. Joe, tell us a little bit about like what you like working on the guitar tone. And my God, when you started singing, I was like, that's Paul. That is incredible. It is incredible. And Tom, we'll get to you and the Gene and A stuff too. But Joe, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, what a great opening track to Phantoms.
Yeah. What I was going for as far as the acoustic intro, clearly, like you picked up on, there's Black Diamond, I Want You. Tonight You Belong to Me.
Tonight You Belong to Me. Yep.
Paul has just such a knack of making these, just such a knack for making things just, feel so compassionate, but then hit you right in the chest with the fist. It's just like from soft, to loud. And I think the contrast of that really kind of captures that vibe. And, we had tossed that idea around. Well, what if we started it with an acoustic intro? We're like, are we going to get some shit for that? But I think at the end of the day, anyone who's a tried and true 70s Kiss fan is going to listen to it and kind of understand where we're coming from. It was weird. Tom said, well, this is kind of what I was thinking for an intro. And I was like, all right, I'll mess around with it. And I think I did that within like 45 minutes. It was complete. And then we cut the rest of the song separately. Another side note, during the song, I Stole Your Love has split guitar solos, which is kind of a trivial fact that some people don't realize.
Yes.
But
I Want You too.
There's yes, I Want You, the same kind of concept, where a lot of people hadn't seen Paul do a whole lot as far as soloing. So we kind of wanted to put that minutia into the song as well and kind of implant it. And hopefully it worked, but I'll let Tom take over.
Well, what's good about that is that when Joe says, Tom said, here's what I was thinking in terms of the intro. All I did was send him the chorus of the electric part. I just played like a root note on a clean guitar and sang the chorus. So it's the existing chorus of the song, but all the acoustic guitar parts that he built underneath that is what makes it good. So when I gave him my idea, it was just a strummed chord and then me singing the chorus. So he could actually create the chords and the picking and the chord changes and all those built up, acoustic bits that sound like just like the perfect intro. And then he harmonized it with himself on it, and just everything about that intro is perfect. And the way that it lines up with the electric part is just so smooth, and it just punches you right in the face. And then the like he said, doing the two guitar solos with him on the front and me on the back of it. That's something that we had done on the first two records. So that was cool for us to do. So, he got his stamp on the vocals all over that song. He built up that acoustic intro, and we both got to share the lead on that. And, he does this really cool Paul type of lead. As you know, Joe can play anything from chicken picking to Yngwie Malmsteen. So he played what we did, like Charlie did. What would Paul do? Not what can I do as a player, but what would Paul do? And that's what he did. And then he hands it off to me, and I go right into this Jimmy Page, Ace Frehley 75 rip, and it was fucking great, So that was something that we thought would be a good way to start the album, because that beautiful intro is not too long where you feel like you're sitting through something before the exciting part gets there. It's the perfect amount of time, and then we punch you right in the face. It's great.
Now, the thing is that I look at is you three each put your stamp on the song, and the three members. Like, I can tell the Peter Criss groove on the drums on there right off the bat. I picked up on the two solos and the second solo, and I'm like, dude, that's ace ripping. And I gotta say, those Paul Stanley type outro vocals you're doing is just like, I'm telling you,
it's uncanny.
Stole it from a live album of Paul's. The what was it? The one that the all rights you do, and then show me at the end. Holy shit, buddy! It sounds just like Paul. And I'm like, so when I first listened to this, I'm like, holy shit, is this? Like, my mind's going to explode with all the thoughts of going, oh, that's this. And this is only song one.
Yeah.
So let's go to song two. And I guess the demon comes into this, right?
Right.
And I couldn't believe that you do both Gene and Ace parts, because they both sound perfect. That's amazing, Tom.
Thanks.
That's amazing.
I will tell you this real. So Fever Dream, honestly, when I texted Zeus when we first got a hold of Phantoms, I said, this may be literally like the greatest unreleased track ever. I'm picturing Gene listening to this being like, holy shit, this is you guys nailed. Obviously the vocals are just uncanny, but the melody, like, you could tell the difference between a Gene song and a Paul song most of the time. But just another thing, just incredible stuff. It's really impressive for diehards like us.
Yeah, I want to jump in on one thing. You even did the Gene hot.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh shit, there's another hot that Gene gets to do.
Yeah.
This has has a lot of a Plaster Caster feel right to the end, and the outro is the Plaster Caster outro.
Yeah.
Am I correct on that?
You
I'm
100%.
just guessing. This is fun for me. So
you're 100%. See, now this is what's interesting is, like, we don't say let's write Plaster Caster 2 or let's write Deuce 2. It's like, okay, here's the track. I could go this way, I could that way. What haven't I done already, or what haven't we done already? And I wanted to do that simmering, cool vocal on the verses like he does in Plaster Caster.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then open it up on the choruses. So it has that character to it. To me, that song, I happen to feel the same way. It's the perfect 3-minute Gene song.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, was the goal in writing it. And I think it was one of the first songs that Charlie got.
Yeah.
And I'll say this about Charlie. When he got on board, he didn't, like he said before, he didn't want to say, what would Charlie Benante sound like playing on this? He put on the the hat, and he knew what was going on, and he just dove right into these songs. And, you know, when I gave him the first, because after Joe said, "Hey, Charlie would really like to do this," and I said, "Well, let me send him a couple things." So I sent him 2 things. I said, "Listen, if you'd like to play on 1 or 2 of these, you know, let me know if you like either one, or if not, no worries." And he says, "I love these both. I want to play on everything." He hasn't heard the rest of it, but he wanted to play on everything. But because he got the song right, and he got some of the feelings that you guys got when you listened to it, and he heard what was on the scratch tracks, and knew, oh, I can hear 100 things that Peter would do on this, and which it's just a matter of which Peter choices he wanted to make, you know. So that was good, because, you know, again, we're not trying to write part 2 of the songs. We're just trying to capture, get a good melody or a good chorus idea or a good verse lyric, and try to find out, where does it fit? Is this a Gene song? Is this an Ace song? Does this title sound more like a Paul song, you know? And then how do we build that up to make it, you know, what it's supposed to be? And then add these little ornamental things on that to just hook you guys in, aside from the hooks that are already there. This is something that I'm very proud of, is I think most of the choruses have hooks. You know, you're going to be singing these songs, and you didn't even know. You're like, "What am I singing?" Oh, that's Klassik 78 thing, right? And then we hook on these Kiss-centric bits and pieces, like if it's an accented snare, or Joe doing the whoa-whoas, or a lick, or whatever, or a bass slide, boom, whatever. It all makes sense because it sounds so familiar, but it's fresh, you know?
And you used a couple of the different Gene voices. So you didn't just stick with Demon voice. You used that kind of like ladies' room, plaster caster beginning of this song, and then brought it down. And then the Demon voice can come out at times, which I love. Me and Tom have that. Oh, this is Gene doing his Beatles type song. This is Gene with the Demon. Right. And he's got that different vocal style, and you hit it right off the top, right when Fever Dream begins. So
thank you. But that we like that one. And Tom, you're a Gene guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that coming from you, especially.
You know? Totally. And one thing I noticed about this song, obviously it's a different type of song from Show Me Your Love or Fever Dream. It's actually a lot different than a lot of stuff on the album. But Charlie, I really noticed the Peter, the real mid-tempo groove that Peter excelled at on this song, on Fever Dream. You could, especially during the verses, the way, it was just, like I said, it's just amazing that, like Zeus said, somebody out there doing Kiss songs, but original material. And just a 1-2 punch of this was great. It's really amazing stuff.
Well, when he sent me that song, that was the first one. And as soon as I heard it, I immediately had ideas like, well, this song to me should have been on Love Gun. So I approached it in that way, that it should have been on Love Gun. So on Love Gun, Peter does a few things. He plays the cowbell with a tom hit. He plays a cowbell in the beat, but it's slightly off. It's not right on all the time. It kind of fluctuates. So if you listen to Fever Dream, especially in the beginning, you'll hear the cowbell is with the toms. Then it's a slight bit off at times, you know, because that's how Peter did it.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Yep.
All right, Ace, let's hear about that one.
There is exactly why. That right there is exactly why Charlie is the man for the job.
Yeah.
He absolutely has those little things that
at drummer's ears, he can pick up on all this stuff. It's over my head,
right.
But I trust him when he says whatever he's saying. Is that what Peter is doing? Perfect. But let's get to Ace. And holy shit, man, on Smoke and Mirror, that whole Another the Days. That is so Ace 78 solo album.
That, and then the phaser too. You start off with the phaser with the guitar. It's like this is like a lost Ace track.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like it would have been perfect for his solo. A little Snowblind kind of stuff in there. I'm the voice. I just can't see how you can do Gene so well and then do Ace just as good.
Yeah, I used to sing Ace songs. You know, I would do "Shock Me" or "New York Groove" or "Rip It Out" or whatever, and so I kind of had had that one in my back pocket. When I was doing the initial demos and trying to do Gene songs, I sang a reference vocal, and I purposely tried to sound like him. I never tried that before, and I was kind of in the ballpark. So I just kind of made the appropriate adjustments, so I was able to hit the target a bit more on the Gene vocal. So I had both of them, in a legitimate fashion, and then I just improved on it as we would get to recording. But, the Ace songs, I put a lot of effort into all the songs because I want people to hear actual songs in here,
Oh yeah.
But the Ace songs, because his career since leaving Kiss has been so up and down. He's been dialed in, and then he crashes and burns, and then he just goes into automatic pilot and all this. He's ups and downs. I want to capture when the guy was on point, whether he had a couple beers in him or not, and that's what I do from 73 to 78. That's what I'm trying to represent. That's what I'm trying to showcase, and it's not me that I want people to go, oh, I'll listen to how good Tom is. I want them to go, oh shit, that sounds just like Ace. How cool is that? Because Ace was fucking cool. That's what I'm going for. So I'm trying to, when I do this, I try to put him in the best possible light, or my influence that I've taken from him in the best to show people this is what the guy did. This, I'm just doing my best to try to capture him at his pinnacle. And so, when I write these songs, that this is what I'm doing. And it is the 78 solo album. It is a little bit of side 4 of Alive 2, so those are important milestones for me, and anything I can get in that, ballpark, I think is the sweet spot for the Ace stuff.
Well,
and,
the other thing to mention here is, if you have someone like, mimicking or trying to sound like Ace and doing a song, great. But the writing and the crafty writing that Tom does, especially on this song, that double entendre, Smoke and Mirrors, that right there just sells, the sound of the instruments and the vocals that much more when you have the convincing songwriting. And I think Tom nailed this one, right out of the park.
I agree.
Brilliant.
I agree with Joe, because he's like, there's the Ace character. And I think so much of that Ace character comes out in this song.
Right.
Like from start, as soon as I heard this song, I immediately thought, wow, yeah, I'm going to do it as Peter with a side of Anton. And the beat is 100,000 years. But then some of the other things are very Anton Figgish,
Yep.
And I love, this is probably one of my favorite songs off the record, because it's so much more of an Ace song than an Ace song is.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's funny. And another side note is it has nothing to do with space travel.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with, any of that. But
Right.
it's just an Ace song.
Yep.
And it translates.
So pardon my ignorance here, but Smoke and Mirrors, is that a big little weed and cocaine kind of a song?
Yeah, it's
Help again. You're talking. I'm an attorney by day. This isn't my field.
You weren't an attorney your whole life. Come on now, relax.
Whatever. But I'm just saying. I just wanted to confirm that in my head. And
yes,
yeah. So the other thing I was going to say on this is the accents on everything. You did exactly like the tip of the hat at Ace in his prime. And it's one of the things that if we look back at Kiss, could you imagine if they had 78 Ace committed and dedicated for like 3 or 4 more albums? What a difference it would have made in the band's history. Because when I hear this, I almost think back like negatively, like what the fuck? Because Ace could have done shit like this within Kiss, and we never got that opportunity because, no offense, we didn't see him not too long ago, and we're not even talking about Creatures Fest. And yikes. Yikes.
We love Ace, but yikes.
And so and his singing right now is just, hey, I'm Ace Frehley. Shock me. Like it's just thank God he's got a great band behind him. But I wish the 78 Ace was more prevalent in Kiss's career, because this is absolutely fantastic. So
thanks, guys.
Yeah,
I want to bring up a couple. I want to bring up a couple of the songs here. Another Gene song.
Don't skip around. I want to go through all these.
All right, go ahead. Go Queen of Hearts.
I want to hear everything about these tracks.
Go ahead.
So let's go to Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts,
which is it like a little Firehouse with the dual vocals, right?
That is, we kind of took that a little bit from Love All I Can, where they did the vocals.
Okay.
On the verses rather than harmonize on the choruses. They harmonized on the verses, and that was an afterthought. Both Charlie and Joe suggested that, not knowing the other one suggested it. So I figured if they're both saying it, then maybe we should do that.
Mm-hmm. Nailed it on that one.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a all night. I just sticks in my head, Joe hitting that Paul Stanley New York accent. I don't know. You're not from there, are you, Joe?
I'm not from. No, I'm not from the city.
You got a down part.
The funny thing is with that. I'm obviously not Paul Stanley, and I can't always sound like him because he had some ridiculous range, and it's such a unique voice. Peter's like Charlie said, Peter probably has the best voice in Kiss, but Paul has the most unique, any day of the week. I mean, it's so hard to find someone that sounds like that. Especially back in those days when he did have that thick accent. And, so I'm not Paul by any means, but I try to capture that by doing the little nuances. But sometimes his range was a little too far, out of my range, out of my comfort range. But, I try to throw that in there for that reason, just to kind of sell it a little bit more. Cause it's a tough voice to mimic.
But you don't just mimic it. You kind of channel it. It works within the song. It's not like,
sure, I would agree with that.
You play the song and then you go back to it and you're like, all right, let me throw a couple things that sound like Paul. No. It's in the song and you kind of feel it. And it comes out naturally. At least that's how it sounds. It doesn't sound forced.
It does. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a few lines occasionally where I really trying to get it, because like I said, it is hard. But overall, you're right. I would agree with that. I channel it. I just kind of get into that vibe. Just
and it's the early Paul voice that you're doing. The early New York.
Absolutely.
When you say something like "keep you fat," all that stuff. It's just it works. It really does.
One of the good things about this too is when you talk about Joe selling the vocal is that, when we write these songs, like the vocal melodies are new. They're not vocal melodies that Kiss have done. It's just that. So he's trying to sing a Paul vocal over a melody that isn't the same melody as a song that Kiss had actually done before. So you're convinced, it feels that it's perfect and that he's doing it. So he's got that extra hurdle in there. It's not like, just sing the melody to this song is written to the melody of Rubber Rock Bottom. So go ahead and do it. He's actually got to say, what would Paul do with this melody? Not that the melody is out of this world. It's just that he has no frame of reference other than what Paul's voice sounds like. So he's got to get the delivery and the syllable emphasis and when he's going to punch it up or take it somewhere else. So even though he gets these, reference tracks with basic melodies, he's got to interpret it and take it to where Paul would take it. And then the final result, the way you got, when Tom and you and Zeus hear this and you go, shit, he's nailing that. That's what Charlie and I hear. And everybody else, Joe's thinking about maybe how I had to really work on that pre-chorus or something like that, because he's trying to be perfect, but the end result is undeniable. It's not easy to do that. And, I'm proud of what everybody does on this record, and I think what's cool is serving the song, with those personalities and that style, and everybody really put it 100% in. And this is another example of that actually with this song. The riff is kind of like a rock and roll over Paul Stanley solo album type of riff. Charlie caught on that right away. The bass line is kind of based off of a Paul Stanley solo album song, Goodbye, but I didn't want to commit totally. I wanted to do something similar to that. And then Charlie cut the track and put in the kick drum that made me have to go back and actually do it more like Goodbye. So Charlie's like, it was Charlie's way of, instead of saying, I think we should do this, he just said, I'm going to put this kick drum in here and Tom's going to have to deal with it. and then we come up with those things. And then we got the acapella section in the middle with Joe. And then we got the phase drum fill. There was a lot going on in this song with everybody's input, and some people go, oh, I don't know what they're referencing here, but this is a really good song. And to me, I hear a bunch of Kiss things going on, and it doesn't really matter who hears it one way or the other, as long as you're enjoying it. But this is another instance where everybody kind of threw in their ideas and whatnot. You
got a very kick-ass ace solo in there too.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good solo in that song too. But what I was going to say was, a lot of times the way I kind of hear it, or these are like little Easter eggs that you could either try and figure out where they came from, or you could just let them go. But for the most part, we purposely put Easter eggs in certain parts, I
love that.
Totally.
Love that.
Yep.
I love it. It makes it more exciting because every time you listen to
you pick up
something new.
That's right.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, let's hit your favorite song on that, because I think this is the one that I think you jumped on, right?
Well, Fever. I'm a Gene guy, but Fever Dream, I sang the prayer. But what you're gonna do is this is like the real, like, kind of sleazy, like, demon song. And I think obviously Tom's vocals carry, but Charlie's groove with what he's doing with the drums there.
Yeah.
It's just a real, you can picture Gene like singing this, like it's like that, just that lurking kind of like menacing Gene track, but just kind of, it's just got that vibe. And I think really Charlie's drums really carry that through there. It's another nail one there for a Gene song.
Wow.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Thank you. No, this is one of my favorite songs too. I think the way Tom wrote this song, and especially that pre-chorus, take a little time. That's such a great pre-chorus, and it sets up the chorus so Kiss-like, but I mean, I definitely heard this song, and I definitely thought side 4 of Alive 2, it's got to be big. It's got to sound like a monster. It's got to be larger than life,
Yep. That's what I put down. Larger than life.
Yeah, me too.
That's what it sounds like. That's the vibe it gives off. And the drumming on this, and the cowbell and the snare going, dude, you guys just hit this one out. And then another awesome solo as well on this one. But I just love the chorus on it. And Tom, shout out Loudcast, Tom is right. It's just got that menacing Gene kind of, and you can picture the video that we see sometimes when we see Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, that look that he's doing, and you can totally see him jumping in and doing like, okay, cut after Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. Now we're going to do What You Gonna Do, the same thing. And he's like menacing. It fits perfect. It's a great song.
That's perfect. And this is what I hope happens to everybody who listens to this stuff. I mean, if you just enjoy the song, that's great. But if I say this all the time, I don't want you to think about me, this Higgins guy, or Joe or Charlie or whoever. I want you to think about that Love 'Em and Leave 'Em thing. I want you to think about the Alive booklet. I want you to think about staring at that Peter Criss solo album or whatever it is, Those are the things that I'm hoping this music conjures up, because that's what we're trying to accentuate, and so that's great to hear you say that, but real quick on this song, Joe mixed the first batch of songs, and this was one of the songs he mixed. We ended up doing, Charlie and I and a friend of mine ended up doing a more comprehensive drum mix on the whole record, but Joe had mixed the guitars and the bass and the vocals and all the panning and all that. Joe put that together, and that became the template for the rest of the record. So Joe did a preliminary mixes on 3 or 4 of the songs. I did a preliminary mix on the rest of them. Charlie was involved with the mixing on all the drums, and also threw in suggestions, because once you start mixing, you can get really fatigued and tired, just from the repetitiveness. And I would send stuff to Charlie just so he could hear the mix, but also so he can approve the drums. And he would say, "Oh, this sounds good. Can you lower the kick? And also you might want to turn the bass guitar up a little bit on this one." And this is how it works. So it was like a combination of the 3 of us doing that, and coming to this, the continuity of the record, considering you got 3 voices happening, trying to get certain things across. The continuity of it is pretty cool. And I think Joe's mix of this was the template that allowed us to move forward.
Well, you guys make a good team, I'll tell you that.
It's funny because real quick, mixing certain songs, this one in particular, I would talk to Charlie, and Charlie would be like, "I want it. I'm picturing this." And then I'd talk to Tom, and he's like, "I'm picturing this." and they're two totally different Kiss tones, you know. And I was like, well, larger than life reverb, because that's like another thing that helps sell the song is the way it's mixed, you know, adding a short delay on a vocal like Gene or a chord on Ace's vocal, you know, something like that really kind of helps you get over that hurdle of, you know, selling the song. Mm-hmm. And it was funny just, you know, to hear Charlie's aspect of it. And then Tom would be like, "You talked to Charlie, didn't you?" It was, over stuff like reverb. You know, reverb should be panned here, and you know, But it's funny how something minor like that could kind of make a big difference.
Charlie prevailed. He got me at a weak moment at the end of mixing. he goes, this sounds great, because I know he loves the song, and then he goes, but I really think we should, you know, try to go that larger than life mix on the drums. So at that point, it was almost done mixing, so I kind of felt like we're at the finish line. So I'm like, all right, let me look at this, because he had it's a valid point. I was thinking more what Watching You and that kind of cowbell groovy beat was leading itself to Watching You. So I was thinking more towards that, but you know, I could hear what he was saying, of course, and that makes sense too. So it's just a matter of what road do you want to go down. But after having most of the work done at that point, then it's like, okay, let me take a step back, and then we worked on it together to a point where he was like, yeah, this is good. And I have a feeling I think Charlie would have maybe larger than life it up a little notch or two more than what it is. But he was like, I was like, is this too much? He goes, it can never be too much, you know?
Never too much.
Yeah. So it was good.
Let's go to the next Paul track here. Living Fantasy Tonight. You guys even did something as simple as even the song titles. You made them very Kiss-like.
Yep.
With the Gunna and some songs in parentheses. Like Kiss does that on all their titles. And even that I pick up on. This gives me a big King of the Nighttime world feel, especially on the drums. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
That's where I got. I don't know if that's what you were going for, but
so for
I love
me
this song.
Yes, for me on this one, I got instant Paul solo album vibes. Whether I got,
I have that as well. Yeah.
Wouldn't You Like to Know Me or It's All Right? Just like that real power pop, late 70s Paul stuff here. And of course, Joe just crushing it with the Paul nuance right there. Just this to me is just a killer Paul track right here. You guys just nailed every ounce of that whole era with this one.
This is like my favorite song besides the Ace one. Well, besides the Larger Than Life song, but this one always has something about it. I love the way Tom plays the song, the rhythm in the song, because it's so Paul. And it's kind of like, to me, it's like Paul Stanley writing a Raspberry song, but Tom writing a Paul Stanley song. You know what I mean? So it's definitely Paul's solo album, but there are the little Easter eggs in this song are like the Christine 16 snare drum, you know, the ba 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 ba. And I love this song. And this is the first song I played to people when I would say, you got to listen to this song, you know, because like Ed Trunk, I knew if I played this song to him first, then he was hooked. You know what I mean? Because he's a huge Paul solo album fan. So, and it worked, you know,
because Paul had the best solo album too, by the way. Sorry. Just throwing it out there to all you Ace fans.
Wow.
His is the best. I'm sorry. It is.
Wow.
I'm with you, Zeus. I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
Perfect. Yeah. That thing is it's one of the best Kiss albums. That's my opinion.
Paul's album, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course. No
there's
doubt.
a funky little thing you do with the bridge too. Right? What was that all? It's kind of like it sounded a little bit guitars or like harmonized or something, a little shout out loud thing going there. Yeah,
it's kind of a Do You Love Me melody type of thing. It's a little bit busier than that. Guitar harmony underneath Joe's vocal. Yeah, that's kind of a tip of the hat to Do You Love Me. And that song is, I'm not going to say anything different than what Charlie or Joe's going to say about that, but Joe put his Paul stamp all over that one, and it's just satisfying to listen to. The changes are good. We put some cool stuff in there. Charlie's snare rolls on the choruses are great, and what's good is it sounds like a human doing it. It doesn't sound like a drum program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he emphasized it at the first one because he was excited and put a little bit of extra elbow grease on the first one, but on the second one he was a little bit more in the pocket and laid back. You could hear the slight difference in the attack, but the feel is still. You know what I mean? It's human. So there are bits and pieces in there where there's, maybe the guitar solo is just ripping, and then we got to get to the end, and maybe I'm pushing it a little too much, and I got to slow down, or maybe I need to catch up. I leave that shit in there because it's human. I don't want it to be all bing, bang, boom. Let's keep the humanity in it, and because that's what real music is supposed to be,
Yeah, that's where you come up with that 70s feel that you guys are talking about. Like, I'm not a musician, so I don't pick up it, but I can hear that where the 70s you can hear every instrument nice and clean. You can pick out the drums, guitar, the bass, and all that stuff. I can hear it on this album.
Yeah,
it's not just like, where the hell is this? What's going on? I hear, Charlie's. I can pick up on that groove, and it's that early Kiss sound, which translates.
Absolutely. And I just want to say this, that when mastering this, I never really mastered a record before. This is after it's all mixed, and then you just kind of get your final EQs and whatever. And the goal, because the mixes were so clean that Joe sent, and then the mixes that I had were comparable to that. So it was very consistent, but I wanted to mix it so it didn't sound like it was a 2020 album production, right?
Totally. Yes.
So that's a given, right? But number two, I wanted it to be where if you wanted to listen to the snare drum, you could hear the snare drum. You didn't have to fight to hear it. If you wanted to listen to the bass line, you could listen to it, without having to fight or dial up, you could, if you want a little bit more bass on it, then put an extra click on your equalizer, in your car or whatever. But just in general, you want to hear the vocals, it's going to take you a second to lock in on those. The hi-hat, it's going to take you a second. Same thing with all of it. So it's very lo-fi compared to today's production value. But in terms of the 70s production,
it's perfect.
It's right in that pocket,
It works. All right. So Walk That Walk. Gene. Want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Joe, you tell them about that one.
It's funny. Tom had a great concept, and he's like, the early 73 Kiss, when they were still in their infancy.
Yep.
They had strong influences like Slade and groups like that. And Tom wrote a song, kind of representing that early vibe that we're kind of giving off. That wasn't exactly what to be a Kiss sound, but it's an early kind of vibe, early Kiss sound. Something that you would hear him rehearsing in a loft, and when Tom wrote it and he sent me the demo, I just fell in love with it. I'm like, it's not exactly 100%, 77 Kiss, but it sure as heck, has a Kiss feel to it. And then when you get the Gene and Paul style vocals answering each other back and forth, that kind of just really kind of gives it a cool vibe, because you don't hear that very often.
Yeah, that stood out to me on this too. Like you said, Joe, this is a song. It's a fantastic song, but you could tell it's a little bit more veering towards that earlier stage of the band, where they wrote songs like that. Where they would write a song like this that sounds like this, and that just comes through again with the production, obviously the vocals, and just the groove of the song. It's just another killer track.
This was the song that confused me a bit. Remember, I didn't know how to approach it, and I played two different versions of the song. The version you hear was like whenever Paul would introduce Firehouse, he would go to the drum riser and get the Firehouse, and Peter would play this kind of like beat, ba, 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 ba. And that's how I approached this song in that kind of way. Dun, 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 like that. Yep. But then there was a whole other version that I did that I played the drums more like Deuce, the way Deuce would.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But the one you hear on the record is the best one.
You got a little bit of a little drum solo, a lot of cowbell going on in the middle there. Am I right on this? Yeah.
More cowbell.
That was a fun section to do because it was Charlie's playing through that whole section, but there's a rhythm lick, and then there's a bass lick, and then there's a cowbell, and then there's a lead lick, but he's playing underneath all of them. But that song, and thank you for mentioning that, Joe, because I almost forgot about that. That is one of the songs on the record, or probably the song that most doesn't reference anything in particular of Kiss. Because, and he's right when he's talking about Slade. I was going for this humble pie type of thing, and humble pie was a huge influence on Kiss and how they locked the guitars together and stuff like that. And they've never actually done a song quite like this. They've done a shuffle like this, 100,000 Years or Love Gun or Speed Back to My Baby. They've done shuffles, but they've never actually did a song like this. So this is more kind of like, what if they showed that humble pie influence with their Kiss stamp on the choruses and on the instrumentation. So it was kind of a little bit of a thing in there for fans to absorb the song, knowing that, well, I can't pinpoint this. Well, that's okay. This is something fresh that Kiss might have done that you just have no reference to, but the vocals and the playing and the personalities are what carries it,
Yeah. Then last but not least, the title track to Rock and Roll Over, right? Rock and Roll Over. Want to tell us about that?
Yeah, Joe mixed this one. Charlie and I mixed the drums on this one. This is again one of those 2.5 minute, 3 minute Gene songs that just smacks you in the face. Catchy, hooky. The lyrics are legitimate. Meaning he should be singing something like this. The chorus. Obviously, Rock and Roll Over is just a cool title. Like, what does it mean? Whatever.
Right.
And I actually had that for the first record, not the song, but I had the chorus. But on the first record, we have an original called Rock and Roll You, so I didn't want to put too many rock and roll songs, and I thought it might be too close to the bone to come out with a song like Rock and Roll Love out of the gate. But this is 100% influenced by that album in every way, shape, or form, and might have been another one of the first ones I sent to Charlie.
Yep.
And I'm very proud of this one, and I put it at the end on purpose, not just because the title is an obvious title, but it's like, you started the album with the acoustic and it kicks in, and now the album's over. Well, you Rock and Roll Over, start the album over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we do.
And that's kind of, I just thought it was a cool little poignant way to do it. But Charlie. And Joe might have a little bit more to say about it because Joe had to listen to it 100 times to mix it. And Charlie,
I remember specifically when he sent me the email. He said, "I have a new song I want to show you called Rock and Roll." Or he said, I don't know if he just sent it, didn't tell me the title. And I saw it and it said Rock and Roll Over. I'm like, he didn't. How did he do it? He did. And then I listened to it. I go, he did it again. He made it work. I mean, Tom is awesome. A brilliant songwriter. There's so much crafty goodness in there, and he really kind of, just thrives with those personalities and writing for them. I truly think that Kiss should hire Tom to write their next.
Seriously, after hearing this album.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I just want to add one thing before we got on, me and Tom got on before you guys. And I'm like, before I listened to the album one more time before I spoke with you guys, and I'm like, where the fuck do I know this from? Which is bugging me. It's bugging me. And I went to YouTube and I put on Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. And like, that's the solo. Am I wrong? Is that Love and Leave 'Em solo? Because that's what it sounds just like.
No, I happen to. This is one of my favorite solos on the record, but that's not that. It actually starts with a little bit of a hooligan type of lick.
Hooligan.
But it's in a different context. That's just what I started. I started doing it, and then I just went where I went. But it's totally influenced by that album. The verse riff is kind of influenced by Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. The intro. People have, thought about, I think Charlie references Sweet Pain on the intro chorus. That's what he picks up on. And, it's whatever you catch. It's all legitimate. And I will say this on the guitar solos. I'm not actually just playing ace licks. I'm actually composing solos, in a way that, the way that he did the song within the song that everybody talks about. You can hum his solos and it's catchy. And then
you can do it with yours too. I'm telling you.
And I'm taking his mindset and doing it, but I'm actually, trying to write solos instead of just going bo ba bo ba for every song, And there's certain licks he does that I won't do. I call them the lazy, I don't give a shit ace licks. There's certain things that I won't put on the song. So, I think that it was a great way to end the record. And, I'll say this, just because Charlie and Joe are here. I think if Charlie mixed it, or I just mixed it, or Joe just mixed it, it might have come out just a little bit different to each other's, what each other might have done. But I think overall, I think we captured enough of what each of us would have been looking for to give you guys the feeling that you get when you hear it, or anybody who hears it and goes, "Oh, this is fucking cool," because it's not just songs that have a cool title but have a shitty lick or whatever. We actually tried to craft this stuff when Charlie put his parts down, when Joe puts his vocal down or puts his guitar bits in there, or me doing that. And I think that the in addition to it, we're purposely trying to get those Kiss vibes and conjure up those things in the listener. But we think it's also a cool fucking rock and roll record. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun doing it. And again, I'm proud of these two guys for all the work that they put into it.
I was just on tour for like 4 or 5 weeks, and we would do these meet and greets, and sometimes, we did like a Q&A. We didn't just do like a meet and greet where you get a bunch of people, take a photo by, we actually stayed for like an hour and a half with our fans, and we talked about, and they could ask anything they want.
Nice.
And every day there was a Klassik 78 question, and I was so happy. I'm like, wow, you love that record. And they're like, yeah. And then a lot of guys on the crew too, like the Hatebreed guys, they loved it as well.
Yeah.
And the Black Label guys too. So everybody like heard about it from somebody, but they didn't know. And like people would come over to me, I didn't know you played drums on it. And I was like, yeah, nobody really knows that, but but they do. Right. But anyway, so it was good to see people who love Kiss really get the spirit of what this is all about. And that's what it is, basically. It's the spirit of Kiss to us.
Right. And I think, Charlie, if you don't mind me saying, I think you recently, were at an event with Paul, and you guys had a nice exchange. Paul's been supportive from the beginning amongst his circle of friends and said some very complimentary things. We haven't had direct contact with him personally, but Charlie actually did.
But I will see all of them. We're playing together in Mexico.
Yeah.
And,
nice. That's right.
I'm gonna personally hand the two of them 2 copies, and
then tell Paul that you want to go on the Kiss cruise so we can all see you perform live in front of all the Kiss fans.
That's what you guys should do.
That's what you should be doing.
The cruise that's going to Mexico.
Well, but we will only do it if it's Kiss, and then right under Kiss is Klassik 78. That's the only way I'll do it.
So is that what's next? You guys going to open for Kiss on the any part of the end of the road? Or maybe
is there any live? Is there any live performance coming? Ever?
I think all three of us would love to do that. It would just have to be. It would have to be the right situation, because we don't want to cheapen the experience that people have from listening to this stuff.
Of course.
If we're getting in a room, I mean, we can play the shit out of this stuff, and there's 1 or 2 guys who could easily hold up, the Gene role for us, because I can't be in 2 places at once,
Right.
And I would love to get in a room with these guys and actually do that and play some of these songs and jam on some fucking Kiss shit,
Yeah.
And we got to do that a little bit with All the Way and Mr. Speed covers, thanks to Charlie. But I think if we played, it would sound really fucking good.
We were going to do this thing with John 5 in New York, but that got blown out because I think because of COVID. John got sick around that time. But yeah, I mean, I'm up for it. Just scheduling. If the schedule's right and we have time, I have time to do it. I would love to do it.
Well, Charlie always says, it would take a lot. We need the 12 trucks of gear and staging. So
we can't do this like low budget. It's got to be
big.
The classic 78 sign behind us.
Flashing lights.
Flashing lights. The stairs. It's a lot, dude.
Couple more things just before we let you guys go, because we're so appreciative of the time you've given us. Tom, we've talked about the music, but the other thing that Kiss fans love is a good album cover. And my word, did you and the artist crush it with this? I mean, you got the background that's kind of like Destroyer Love Gun like. You got Gene's bass with the blood all over it. You got Paul's guitar with the purple rose, Ace's guitar with the smoke coming out, the Sam Serpent, Peter's bass with the bandolier from the Love Gun album, and my favorite, the roller coaster in the background from Phantom of the Park, which of course the album is called Phantoms. You checked off every late 70s box on that album cover.
Here's the great part is that I had a loose concept for that, and I have my skills on Photoshop are all clunky, and I could never even attempt to do what you see on that album cover. So I gave a very choppy, ridiculous concept to Claudio Bergaman, who's the artist. Yep. He's a big Kiss fan. He's originally from Chile. He's here in the States. He lives in Northern California. He did the last Judas Priest album cover, Firepower.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I reached out to him and I said, listen, I don't know if you know who we are, but this is what we do. And here's, I wanted to get, us a proper cover, because on the first two releases we just did a very bland thing, kind of let the music do the talking, kind of let the music be the calling card. But this album we were so happy with, and I wanted to make sure that we had an album cover that really matched the quality of everybody's performance and the songs and all that stuff, and just give people something special, because it had been 5 years. Nobody knew Phantoms was even coming, Mm-hmm. So I talked to Claudio. I gave him a loose thing. He started to throw out all these ideas, and he ran with it. And I compromised on some things that he really wanted to do. I had the roller coaster in the back, like the Burning City and Destroyer. Okay. He brought it up to the forefront. He brought it up to the forefront on the other side. It was his idea to do the Serpent. It was my idea to do the bandolier. He was thinking of putting that backwards 3. I thought that was a little too close to the bone. Mm-hmm. I wanted the bandolier. So we had a little back and forth, but 90% of that you see is all the magic that he did and his running with the concept. I had very little to do with what you see on there in terms of how fucking good it is. And, so Charlie loved it.
Yeah, you missed the rose, Tom.
No, I said it. I mentioned it. I mentioned the purple rose.
I just saw it now.
So Tom, so when can we get a T-shirt with this, and when are we going to get the colored swirled vinyl for this so I can add it to my collection?
We'll definitely do T-shirts. I was working with somebody who's got a good rep in the Kiss world to do T-shirts, and it's just I think the timing is wrong, because it's a very busy time for this person.
Okay.
So it's not, I haven't been able to pull the trigger on that yet, but you'll probably see Charlie in a T-shirt sooner than anybody else, right, Charlie? But we'll definitely do that. The vinyl thing is, we definitely are going to do it, and we were hoping to do it at the end of this year. But the industry is so upside down and so backlogged, and because we're independent, just monitoring the situation, and it's going to happen. And I think because we have to wait a little bit longer, I think Joe and Charlie and I are due to have a powwow on it when we have the time to just throw everything in the kitchen sink into what we could do to really make it special when it happens, because we could just release it on vinyl and have the cover be what it is, and maybe an extra song. There'll probably be an extra tune on there, right?
Okay.
But maybe we should gatefold it. Maybe we should do some goodies and some really do something really special.
Charlie's nodding his head too, so he wants a gatefold and goodies.
Because we're waiting too.
Alive too.
Tattoos.
The tattoos.
Because we're waiting too. We would love to have one. We just have to, it's just a crappy time. But all that stuff is going to happen. And what's beautiful about this is that because it's us, we can roll things out. This thing has a life of its own. Sure. It doesn't have to be on a cycle that a proper major label release would be on. We didn't release 6 songs, 3 months before the album was even released. We didn't even tell anybody it was coming. We just went blam.
What would be really cool if I could talk to those guys and maybe it opens and each one of those guys writes a little letter about what they think of the album. Like guys in a live,
super cool. Super cool.
So maybe we can get them to do that.
Holy crap!
You can pull that string, Charlie. You can do that.
I just got chills when he said that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
No, it could be like, well, I hated this record, or it's like, this is
Gene,
great.
I want my cut.
Yeah.
Where's my money? Yeah, that's what.
He would never do that.
One more thing, just a real quick thing. While you're all waiting for the vinyl, you could always pick up Charlie Benante's Silver Linings.
I have it
album on vinyl.
I have it.
Do you? Okay, great.
I have it. It's awesome. Yep.
So as you know, you could testify that there's 2 of our Klassik 78 tracks on there.
That's right.
But they're
2 of my favorite songs,
Mr. Speed and
They're
by the way
incredible.
Like when we talk about this, like whenever I meet some fans who like it, we talk about those 2 songs specifically, and they're like, "Why did you pick those 2 songs?" And it's like, well, because those are some of the best Kiss songs that aren't that popular.
That's right. That's right.
And when Joe sang those, I was just like, dude, I was laughing when he sent me the vocals and everything because it was just so spot on.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just awesome.
No, Silver Linings is fantastic. And if I can just drop in a little Rush thing. Moving pictures is awesome, Charlie. Oh, fantastic. I always got to get my Rush stuff in there. That's okay.
Did you see Rush at that tribute
I
thing?
did for the Taylor Hawkins tribute.
Yeah, that was cool.
Incredible. Yep.
I'll say this about Charlie, if you guys don't mind, real quick.
Go ahead.
Getting to know him and what he did with the Klassik 78 record, and what he did during the Mr. Speed and All the Way. This guy just loves music. He doesn't care what genre it is. And, some people say, well, why would you do a cover if it's going to be exact? It's because he wants to be Peter Criss for 3.5 minutes. He wants to, or he wants to be Neil. He wants to be Neil Peart for 18 minutes, whichever one you want to do. But, and I'll say that about Anthrax too. Those guys are out of all the big 4. These guys just love music. Not that the others don't, but it's apparent in what Anthrax does. That they're pulling from all these different influences, whether it was friggin' Joy Division or Iron Maiden or whatever the hell was scratching somebody's itch. They put that in the pot. So, I think part of why they've been around so long is part of that reason. And the fact that Charlie's got such a love of music, doing something fun like Klassik 78 or doing those Kiss covers, he literally gets something out of it musically to do that. It's just joy. And this whole album, we're not trying to say that Kiss should be doing this and they're not. That's not for us to say. We're just saying we loved the sound that they used to make, and nobody does it anymore. So we dig this. We hope you do too. And it's all about having a good time. Crank it up in the car, put it on in the office while you work, and whatever it is, there's no pretense about it other than just have a good time with it.
Yep.
And I'm sorry.
Thank you for saying that. No, I was going to say thank you for saying that, and I'll give you this later, Tom.
I also gotta add too, since Tom got that, I gotta say the Chloe Dancer version is awesome.
Fantastic. Incredible.
Incredible. Love that. We're 90s guys.
One of the great
schools, so we got all that influence too.
One of the greats.
You did a
it's such a great song, such a great band. Yeah.
Yep.
And kind of forgotten in a
totally.
way.
Totally.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's why you pick those 2 great songs too. You pick up on stuff that a lot of people aren't seeing and they should know. And that's why I think those 2 songs really work.
One more thing before we let you guys go, and I would be remiss as a fan if I didn't ask Charlie this while we have him on there. The Pantera tour. Congrats for getting the call to drum on that, which is incredible. Is there anything you can share with us? If you guys like, we're going to go deep cuts. Are we playing top, like the hits? Are we doing, how big is the tour going to be? What can you, because we have listeners of our show that love Pantera, including myself.
All I know right now is I'll be in rehearsal next week.
Okay.
And that's all I know. And we're playing a bunch of shows in South America in December.
Awesome.
That's it for now. So
awesome.
I'm excited. So yeah, we can't wait. Can't wait.
It's going to be great.
Again,
congratulations, man.
This is something that, it's for me, it's a very emotional thing because of my history with those guys. So I like people to know that this is about Philip, Rex, Vinnie, and Dime. You know what I mean? And the fact that Zach and I are going to be a part of this, and we're just going to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm. Awesome! Congrats, Charlie. It's an honor. It's going to be a great tour.
Now, where can before we forget, where can people pick this up? Now, you have a website, right?
Yeah, Klassik78.com. That's Klassik 78.com. And that'll bring you the links to the iTunes store and Amazon. Now, this isn't available for streaming. You can buy the album as a download in the iTunes store, not Apple Music. And you can buy it as a download from Amazon. It's not part of Amazon Music streaming. And also you can buy the CD at newburycomics.com. And that's
Newbury Comics.
And this is all worldwide. So if you're in Scandinavia, you can buy it from Newbury Comics, and so it's no matter where you are in the world. So it's you want the physical copy, you can get that. And it's again, Klassik.
Is that on Amazon? You said you can get the physical CD on Amazon?
No,
Newbury Comics.
You can Newbury Comics. The physical.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
and
nice.
then the digital downloads on Amazon and on the iTunes store.
Excellent.
We'll certainly put links on it for everybody, because I'm telling you, if the listeners that listen to us, they trust our opinion, this is the Lost Kiss CD
totally
in the 70s that you should pick up, because we don't say this like just to blow smoke up your ass. You guys fucking killed it.
Yeah.
All three of you. And you each put a mark on this, which, for this Kiss podcast, we'll sing this thing's praises for years to come, because it's well deserved.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, guys, on this.
Yeah.
Can you want to tell us anything else coming up in each one of you's career? Anybody want to plug anything?
We are playing Blue Ridge Festival Thursday in Virginia. If anybody wants to come, please come to that festival. It's going to be great. And then Anthrax go to the UK.
Beautiful.
And then, like I said, the Pantera thing starts in December 2nd in Mexico.
In between, that's the Kiss cruise. I got you.
You got to come on the Kiss cruise with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Kiss cruise for sure, but got to remember our mutual friend Jericho. With his Jericho cruise, February 3rd, our Kuarantine group is going to be playing.
Nice.
On the Jericho cruise.
Yeah, but you guys have a problem. You don't have Kent. And you got this idiot from New York. I wouldn't be saying that in called Joey Casada filling in for him. Yeah. Is that true?
We love to shit on Joey.
Oh my God!
He's a friend of the show. We've been on his show. He's been on ours. We bust his. It's the Boston, New York hatred that we love.
Yeah,
Joey who?
Yeah, exactly. Joey who? Huh?
Casada. God bless you, man.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best. Tom Higgins, Joe McGinness, Charlie Benante.
Tom, you got it? Wait.
I'm sorry, Tom. Yeah, please go ahead. Anything else you want to plug besides Klassik 78?
Yeah, well, actually, Klassik 78 will be opening up for Blue Oyster Cult and Ted Nugent on September 27th of 1978.
Nice.
So come early.
Nice.
No, I'll be washing dishes in about a half hour. That's all I got going.
All right. Well, that's good enough. But so Tom Higgins, Joe McGinness, Charles Benante, Klassik 78. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for giving us so much time tonight, breaking down this album and just having a ton of fun with a project that you guys should be super proud of. We love it. And we're so glad that you guys joined us. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
You. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Pleasure.
Incredible interview, really, really special for them to break down the album the way they did with us. And it was just really a great time. And the excitement, the smiles that they had on their faces, you could hear the laughter, the enjoyment, the passion that they have as Kiss fans, the way that they all interacted with each other. Like we said before the start of the episode, no egos. Everybody's in a team, people sharing thoughts, ideas, rewrites, producing, just incredible stuff. We're so gracious to Tom, Joe, and Charlie for this. And just as Kiss people, Kiss fans, we know you guys are, obviously you're listening to this. It was a real thrill to not just talk about the band, but then actually just chip away at the album song by song.
So this is one of these episodes that after it's done, Tom and I look at each other and we're like, we are so fucking lucky to do what we do. I would have done this and talked to them and never released it and been happy because I just had a fucking blast talking to these guys about this album and Kiss. And it was literally talking to a Kiss fan, not Charlie Benante from Anthrax and Joe McGinness from Kuarantine and Tom Higgins from Malden.
Yeah.
It was just, for me personally, we have that thing where we'll look at each other when we're done and we both know, like,
you can feel it.
That was fucking awesome. We don't care how many downloads. We don't care how well this episode does. We don't give a shit. Like, that was for us. And we get these things every once in a while. I don't know what it is. We've yet to have one where, like, this guy was a fucking dick.
Yeah,
or,
it's never happened.
Dude, this was fucking boring. Like, we never have fun. Like, we never know what we're going to get when we get into these.
Yep.
Good God, they're so down to earth. Charlie, of course, we're lucky enough that we have a couple of text groups going with Charlie, with Chris and PJ on another one. And he's always been nothing like the rock star you would expect him to be. He's always fucking great with this time. He's got a great sense of humor, talks to you, eye to eye. There's no ego involved. And Joe is the same way when we met him in Creatures Fest. And when we had him on with Kuarantine, awesome guy. And then Tom, who couldn't be kinder, nicer, and just want to talk music.
Yep.
And as he said, you heard him. He's like, when you hear this, I don't want you to be like, oh, Klassik 78. I want you to think of that Kiss song, the Kiss music. What does that get you to?
Yep.
Because it's an homage, I think, like a love letter to Kiss from all three of these guys who love this era. And me and you are gushing because that's how we feel. It's genuine.
Yeah. And it was so great. The five of us just talking and just geeking out over Kiss. The minutia of the songs, the little Easter eggs, the little tidbits would be like, wait, was that from this song? Because it sounds like it was from this album. Oh yeah, that sounds like it's something from Paul's solo album or something from Rock and Roll Over. Yeah, well, we were trying to go for this. Like, just incredible inside Kiss stuff, and you could feel that through the interview. And I know we don't release the video, but you could see that in their faces too. It was just a fun conversation. It reminds me and Zeus. Reminds us, and hopefully it reminds you, why we love this band and why we do this show. Fuck all the noise out there, all the silliness and all the BS that goes on constantly out there. It comes down to the band we love and the music we love and the guys who make it.
Yeah, it's incredible. And the fact is, when we had those guys on talking about this, you could see the joy in the way they were talking about. And Charlie just talking about, he's got his own shit. He's about to be on probably one of the biggest fucking tours around, that Pantera. And he took time out because he loves this. And that he's like, when they were telling stories, or he's like telling people at his Anthrax meet and greets, listen to this, pick this up. Hey, check this out. When I went up to Eddie and I was like, hey, Eddie, listen to this. I'm just like, yeah, I see why you feel this way. It's incredible. And they each contribute something awesome. First of all, Charlie getting that Peter Criss groove.
Oh, the sound and the groove. Just incredible.
Yeah. And then Joe's voice.
Oh, my God.
The singing is excellent. Tom hitting the Gene and Ace, I'm not in a daze. That's fucking awesome. I can't believe how well they do it. It's not copying. They're giving out the Kiss aura.
Yep.
And you feel it. And you really can think like, oh yeah, this really did come out in 78.
They're giving Kiss fans an album that they didn't get. It's a lost Kiss album. And when you listen to now, the first two Klassik 78 EPs were great. Okay. This one leaps and bounds in terms of song quality and production. I mean, and for God's sakes, even the album cover is just mind blowing. It's just great. It was a thrill for us to have them on. We can't thank the three of them enough. The interview could have kept going because with the five of us, we're just having such a blast. So we hope you guys are a fan of the album as much as we are, and that you enjoyed this interview and the breakdown as much as we did.
Yeah, we always want to do an interview when we leave it out there for you guys. If someone discovers this album 2 years from now and it's like, I really like that. Oh shit! Shout Out Loudcast did an episode with those guys. It's not the generic questions. It's not the generic stuff. We wanted to break it down, like ask the question because I love this album.
Yeah,
that we would want to ask, and we hope that you get that. There's one other thing though. It's been fucking racking my brain, and they talked a little bit about this, and they were like, "Walk That Walk." That song is a little different. It's like almost like their Humble Pie homage. Kiss would listen to them. It's not really a Kiss song. And I'm like, why do I know this fucking song? And it's been bugging me. And I figured out what song it reminds me of. Push, push, Cinderella.
Oh,
that's what's in my head.
Oh,
yes.
Yuck.
And you let a little push, push. And you let a little push, push. That's what it is. That's what it reminds me of.
You can't see me right now, but I'm just shaking my head.
That's what is fucking bugging me.
That's they won't.
You have no idea how many days I'm like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, what is that? Why do I know this?
Zeus humming Push Push is going to be the new intro to our show now.
Detroit Red Wings at their games play Push Push. I've heard it.
Why?
When they play the Bruins. I don't know. It's somebody there must love hair metal.
That is, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah. If I say that to Charlie, I bet you'd be like, who?
Who? What are you talking about?
80s hair
yeah,
metal?
right. I don't know what that is.
Asylum. You were on that tour with them.
What's Asylum?
I don't know no Godfather.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know no Asylum.
I don't know no Asylum.
Jericho's like, what? You were on that tour. I don't know any songs from that. Oh, God. Anyway, guys, we can't thank you enough. Klassik 78 for coming on and doing this interview with us. Thank you for your generous time. That was so fucking fun, man. So fun.
Great time. Thank you guys. Tom, Joe, and Charlie. Awesome.
Tom, we go to question of the week next.
Yes, we do. And our question of the week is brought to us by the fantastic Fusion Tech Data and Electric. Fusion Tech is a recognized communications contractor specializing in the construction, splicing, testing, and documentation of all types of fiber optic networks. Along with that, Fusion Tech Electric can service all of your electrical construction needs, commercial, industrial, and utility, as well as electrical substation work and all UPS and DC power plant installation. Fusion Tech currently operates throughout the 5 boroughs of New York City, as well as New Jersey and the tri-state area, providing union labor with IBEW Local 3 in New York City and IBEW Local 164 and Local 102 in New Jersey. For more information about Fusion Tech, please visit their website at fusiontech-llc.com or call them at 973-650-1357.
Yeah, Fusion Tech.
Woo! This question comes from Anthony on Facebook. This is a good question. He says, there have been many, many books written about Kiss and written by the members of Kiss. If you had your way, what would be the next Kiss-related book that you would want to see written?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there could be a ton of that stuff. I guess I'm just thinking of eras and maybe the real story of the reunion and Carnival of Souls and the Eric and Bruce and Gene and Paul aspect.
Like that time frame, like that 3-4
yeah,
years
like,
right
hey,
there.
hold tight. We're not sure what we're doing.
Yeah.
Eric's side, Bruce's side, Paul and Gene, what they're thinking. And then have like almost do a behind the mask type. Everybody's having to say about different parts chronologically as this is moving on. And then, we saw the Unplugged and then this happened and then that happened. That might be a fun thing.
Nice. So I would like to see something along the lines of like a coffee table book. I have a book called Fade to Black. It's a book by our friend Martin Popoff, and it's a huge coffee table book, and it's just album covers, like the history and the artistry of album covers from like the vinyl days. It's incredible. If you can find this, it's amazing. This thing is huge. And then I have another coffee table book. I think a lot of people, Kiss fans, know this one, the Lynn Goldsmith, like the really thick leather bound, like photo book, coffee table book. I'd like to see something like that put out by Kiss that kind of is like an era by era or album covers, prints, demos, things that maybe never made it to the pressing plant or anything like that. Something like an official coffee table book, because we've gotten one, that incredible Hottest Brand in the Land book by Nicholas Buckland. We had him on the show when that book published a few years ago. Something like that you can kind of display, pull it out, look at it with like another Kiss friend, not necessarily a novel like Behind the Mask or, whatever, but something like a book of like art or photos, because Kiss is, like we always say, the most visual band in the world. I'd like to see something like that officially put out by Kiss, not that stupid monster book that came out fucking however long ago it was, or not, and not History either. I know those books came out; those were very exclusive and very, very expensive. Maybe if they kind of miniaturized those History books into something a little bit more affordable and more coffee table sized, we could do that. But maybe something like that History, but not friggin' $200-300. But that would be my wish list, because I love all that kind of stuff. But that is a great question. Actually, could spend a ton of time talking about that. But Anthony on Facebook, thank you for sending us that one.
Tom, where can people find us?
Start with our awesome website, please. Shoutitoutloudcast.com. Shoutitoutloudcast.com. You can find all of our episodes, Shout It Out Loudcast episodes, ARC episodes, Zeppelin Chronicle episodes. You can find all of our rankings. Everything is all there. You can click on our link to buy merch. You can click on our Amazon link to get stuff through Amazon. You can click on our links for all of our friends that have been on the show, people that we have been on their show. We have photo albums from the cruise, Creatures Fest, all kinds of great stuff. Check it out. It's all there. And then, of course, we're all on the social media, very active: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok. If you pay attention to that, you can see our Borat video that our friend Daryl Albert made of him dancing to What Makes the World Go Round. Fun stuff there. And of course, our wonderful Patreon family. Special shout out to Josh Brown this week. Thank you guys. Thank you, Josh. And we're proud to be part of the Pantheon podcast network of shows. Tons of great shows. And we're one of them, and we're proud of that, and including the aforementioned Martin Popoff.
Tom, people can DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I don't know if you can DM us on TikTok, but if you can, do it. We do get back to people as much as we can, but we do read everything every time you guys send us something. It's just hard nowadays for us to get to everybody, so please understand that. We ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That has been growing constantly, so we thank you for that. And please give us one of those 5-star reviews on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you can, even Facebook. You can give us a review. We appreciate those. That helps us a lot. Another way besides Patreon to help the show is to give us a 5-star child review. And we did get one, Tom, all the way from Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazilian Kiss fan's father. My 4-year-old son, Breno, became obsessed by Kiss. Even his 5th birthday will be a Kiss themed with local cover band in full costume.
What?
That's why I discovered your show. I love your enthusiasm and humor in talking about the band. Great interviews. Eddie Trunk's episodes are fantastic. Love when you guys charge over Paul Stanley. Yes, he's a diva. I'm dreaming about doing a podcast about the Rolling Stones. Please send a shout out to Breno. Yeah, Breno.
Yeah, Breno. Man, enjoy that birthday party. That's going to be incredible. Happy birthday, man. That's amazing.
Dude, Breno, you have a great dad.
Absolutely,
that
buddy.
is nourished this love of Kiss, and doing a Kiss birthday party theme with a cover band in full costume. Breno's dad, and I believe the name on this as on Apple Podcasts, Zuzulabatao, is a awesome dad.
I just hope he's not letting Breno, the 5-year-old, listen to our show.
Yeah, I don't want him picking up any of our habits. You don't want that either.
No.
But yeah, Breno, you're the best, buddy. Happy birthday.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, buddy. Rock out on your birthday with that Kiss band.
And desculpe eu não falo português.
So, yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Anyway, as far as the 5-star child reviews, please keep them coming, and we'll give a shout out just like Breno's dad got one.
Yep.
Please go and find our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com, shoutitoutloudcast.com. Tom just mentioned it. You can get merch, t-shirts, and when you take the t-shirt, send us the photo. I believe somebody just sent us a photo of them putting one of their stickers on their suitcase, I think, Tom, right?
No, it was our friend I Love It Louder. He sent us a picture of his young son's dresser in his bedroom with Kiss stickers on, and one of them was the Shout It Out Loudcast logo sticker. We're see, I love this. We're getting all the young kids. Grab them young. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want these young kids going, Dad, who's PJ Sparks? Like, we can't have that shit going on.
Dad, what are flapjacks? I know you have them for breakfast, but this guys were talking about them in a different way.
Yeah, but as long as he doesn't say, what are snapper flaps? Oof. We can't have that.
Dad, I have to go to the bathroom. Can you get me a piss cup so I don't have to get up in the middle of the night?
My goal is to be shouted out loudcast. I want a piss cup. Okay. No, but somebody else had sent us a photo of their guitar case or suitcase with the shout out loudcast sticker. Well, whoever it was, please remind us, because I know somebody sent this to us. And we appreciate all those. Anytime you put something on like that, send us those photos. We'd love to give a shout out or retweet or repost, whatever we can do. And we thank you guys for doing that. So it's an honor for us that you guys do that.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to put it on the website. Speaking of the website, you can also purchase stuff on our Amazon store. Like, we'll have the links to Phantom to buy the album on our website. You can see them. They'll be in our section of friends of the show. They'll be on the episode. There'll be information there. And please go support them. Buy the album, pick up the song, get the physical copy rather than the download stuff. I think it's better for them, but either way, get the physical copy. That's what I would prefer. And hopefully they'll have the vinyl that Tom is lusting after.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And don't forget, you can always email us at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. Tom, what we do next is we always like to end with famous last words. You got any?
Oh, always. You're good looking, so you get your way. You've been lucky, baby. Not today. Because you've been pushing. And you don't get me tonight. Oh, okay.
There's nothing else I'd rather do. So you lift your dress. You want to impress. There's one thing I've got to confess. Leave them. Oh, yeah. Leave them. Yeah.
Love it.
Woo. Well, Tom Higgins, Charlie Benante, Joe McGinness, Klassik 78, Kiss Army, Loudcasters. Tom, my friend, thank you.
Guys, you're the best. Special shout out to Tom, Joe, and Charlie from Klassik 78. Thank you for giving us a great episode. A ton of fun with that interview. Thank you, everybody out there. You guys are the best. Zeus, as always, my friend. Thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout. So, Tom, we're thinking about doing another sidecast, and we're like, what is as bad as Kiss and as toxic? Like Star Wars. And what were some of the topics we were going to do?
Oh, yeah. We do a Star Wars podcast, and like our member profile episodes will be like, this week we're going to do a planet profile. We're going to talk about Naboo for the next 3 hours. What do you think?
This week we have the background actor Boss Nat. He's going to come on.
Following up, we have General Grievous and how he used to spin those lightsabers as quickly as he did.
We have Stormtrooper 340 from the battle scene at Chewbacca's planet.
That is also that is known as Kashyyyk.
Oh,
okay, come on now. There
you go. Imagine how toxic Star Wars would be doing a podcast on this.
Brutal.
I don't care what you say. We know nothing about movie making.
No.
We are not in Hollywood. We have no connections with anything. We could do a Star Wars podcast, and I would say within 2 to 3 years, we would be
we would hate Star Wars.
We would hate Star Wars, but we'd be near the top of the Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, because our first episode is going to be a bounty hunter draft, and I'm taking Bosk with the number 1 pick.
Yes. And then we would get questions like, do these guys even like Star Wars?
Do you like The Last Jedi?
Dude, by that fucking time, she was getting fat. There's nothing. People are like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
What is the matter with you guys?
Yeah, like, oh, this guy sucks. And this, why do you make fun of them? I thought you're supposed to like this. We would get so much backlash, but we could seriously do some major damage breaking down Star Wars and doing Star Wars podcast.
We're diehard fans. It would be incredible.
Of the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Not the fucking drama and all that other shit. And there's stuff to be made fun of on Star Wars.
Oh, you think? Of course.
But I honestly believe we could fucking have a top Star Wars podcast within 3 years.
Maybe it's a challenge we'll accept.
Stay tuned.